Hello, bienvenidos, and welcome to day 2.
It's full of real-life stories to inspire you by shining a light
of the sustainability and energy categories, mobility and infrastructure, and connectivity and data.
Everything you and your companies produce in the way of technology can prosper only on a healthy planet, which requires a healthy ocean.
We have to open the future. We want to think big.
Now we have the proof that big exits can be done in Spain.
The winner is
Submer. Mix. Move.
Gachaca.
If you are an artist, you have a blank page. And if you are a founder, you have a blank page.
I'm only trying to do what I cannot do.
Innovability, which means innovation and sustainability.
We are in constant change, constant evolution.
Actually, Silicon Valley is doing remarkably well.
A real upside of the downside of the pandemic.
We felt a huge amount of responsibility in a hugely uncertain time.
Nunca se puede abandonar ni la cultura ni la creatividad.
The projection of the future, despite of the uncertainty, has to be positive.
Hello, bienvenidos, and welcome to day 3 of Prime Time on South Summit TV, coming to you from La Nave here in Madrid, the capital of entrepreneurship and innovation. My name is William Miller, and I am thrilled to be your host for these 3 days of South Summit Prime Time. And what a great time we've had so far. Antonio Banderas, Aubrey de Grey, Eric Yuan, the founder and CEO of Zoom, Manny Spenger, who sold his company for $5 billion, Sam Waterston. Today we reached the primetime grand finale, and wow, what a superb program we've had lined up. We're going to be joined by Nick Nash from Asia Partners, Susie McBride, the COO of Iridium, 2-time rally champion Carlos Sainz, and NASA astronaut Katie Coleman. At South Summit TV, we have our feet on the ground, but we always aim for the stars. So they say that money makes the world go round. As Yuval Noah Harari said, it is certainly the most successful collective idea that humanity has ever had. But today, money is increasingly digital and mobile. And today, we are going to meet some of the main players of now and some stars of the future, of tomorrow. But first, let's get some insights on the state of the world from 2 gentlemen who have access to rare and invaluable vantage points. Marcelo Claw is the CEO of SoftBank Group International and COO of SoftBank Group Corporation. Marcelo oversees SoftBank's operations and strategy along with CEO Masayoshi Son. Carlos Torres Vila is the CEO of Banco Bilbao Vizcaya Argentaria, or BBVA, as we know them on the high street. To talk about catastrophe as an opportunity, please welcome to South Summit for our opening keynote fireside chat, Marcelo Claw and Carlos Torres Vila.
So great to be here at this digital edition of South Summit. I'm super excited to introduce our next conversation. 2 of the great top keynote speakers for this year's edition of South Summit, which is Carlos Torres Vila, Chairman of BBVA, and Marcelo Claure, Chief Executive Officer of SoftBank Group International. Carlos, Marcelo, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
The COVID crisis and everything that it has disrupted, what are the main impacts for your business? Carlos, maybe we can start with you.
For us, our day-to-day has changed dramatically. We were able to anticipate the crisis by sending our people home and really prioritizing health over anything else, prioritizing the health of our employees, the health of our clients. And thanks to our digital capability, we've been able to serve our customers and continue to be there for them with a very small proportion of our people really having to go to the branches to open them up. We have seen dramatic increase in the in-app registrations. I think it's 30% globally increase in app usage. So clearly technology has come to the rescue in terms of providing the service. In our case, we have also taken a step forward in terms of supporting society with about $50 million commitment of money. A big part of that was out of BBVA's own funds. Another portion was fundraising from clients and fundraising from employees. And that has gone to medical equipment at the beginning, quite strongly, supporting the, bringing ventilators and the likes. Also supporting the most vulnerable in the places where we're present. We'll talk about LATAM in a minute. And then finally also doing some funding for COVID-related research, mostly out of our foundation.
So one is, it's hard to sometimes talk about how good business is going, right, when you're experiencing so many losses. But let's park that, and I think the world has heard a lot of the negative side of COVID. But I will tell you, on the positive side of COVID, we have experienced probably the fastest and exponential increase of the digitalization of every life and of every business. And when we look at the world and when we look at investment, when we look at our portfolio of 170 companies around the world, I am every morning when I talk to our different CEOs, I'm blown away by the innovation or how everybody has digitalized their business. Unless I massively transform my business, I am never going to be able to survive. The pandemic has brought something that we said it was going to happen a few years from now, the digitalization of the economy, and it has accelerated. So I think the world has changed forever, and I think the world is never going to be the same. The pandemic is going to finish and the world is going to go back to normal, and I say you're going to go bankrupt if you think that way.
Going forward, we envision a mix that people can continue to work from home a lot of the time for the things that working in a focused way in your own space with the flexibility to also tend to family matters. Also, it'd be helpful to bring more diversity to our workforce so that men also share on the work at home much more. And I think we need to work a lot in most of the countries where we're present. That's an issue, and I think working from home can help solve that matter as well. So for all of those things, we will maintain working from home as a real option possibility for everyone. But for certain things, it's good that you come to the office every week, and for team meetings, for dynamics that require you to be there.
And what we're seeing a lot of companies do, I'll give you an example of Google. Google has a lot of employees that work across the bridge in Brooklyn. And those employees want to go to work, but somebody like Google, they don't have an office in Brooklyn. So those employees they're allowed to come to a WeWork in Brooklyn, we've made it look like it's a Google facility. What people are scared is to get into public transportation, to get into the subway, to get into buses and all that. But if people can find a way to walk to work, or just take one ride to work, or take a bicycle to work, people are dying to get back to work. So I think the future of working is not going to go, hey, we all work from home, but companies are going to have to think a model in which the offices are closer to where their employees live. Plan like you are with COVID for the next 2 to 3 years. One way or another, because this is not one that, hey, there's a vaccine and everybody gets vaccinated and goodbye COVID and world back to normal. That's the way we at SoftBank are looking at the world, and that's how we're making our investments. How do you see the future of fintech banking in Latin America, understanding that there are new players who have a very high NPS with customers?
Yeah, great question. I think it is the same that we have witnessed happening in other markets. Maybe the difference here is that the unserved need might be larger. Well, by the way, we are partnering with a lot of fintechs, but also we're partnering with the big tech. We announced a partnership with Uber in Mexico, which is quite successful in bringing also hundreds of thousands of customers onto our already very large bank in Mexico. We have other discussions ongoing with other big techs. We announced in July an agreement with Google to market a Google BBVA account in the US. Other banks as well, but we are one of a very few set of large banks that has announced that. And that's really a response to what you were describing. So on top of so our customers used to walk into the branch, right? So they would walk the street and walk into the branch and open their account or buy their product. Then they moved on to the digital channels some years ago, and already a large percentage, more than 60% of our clients are digital, and more than half are mobile users. So a lot of the new flow comes from our own digital channels. Now the movement is going into third-party digital channels. Already that's happening, and you know this better than me, Marcelo. And we're just partnering there so that we can do a win-win. We can provide the product, and we can partner with big brands that have also the cloud, the marketing cloud, the customer base to bringing new business for us. So we see it as a way of growing. And I think a lot of the banks are going to be out of business because the fintech competition, the big tech competition. In our particular case, we are one of a few, one of a kind that I think are doing the right things to be part of the landscape going forward as well.
So from my side, we're big admirers of BBVA, and it fills me with a lot of pride that you see a Spanish company in the US. In many cases, when I see your name in branches and in some place in the US that I've seen, so I'm a huge admirer, and I love what you guys are doing. I just think we're going to experience one of the most fascinating clashes where I'm a believer a few banks that understand what's coming, that can adapt to it.
I think we have an opportunity. The pandemic is really an opportunity to reset. And one of the aspects we need to reset is precisely that of discrimination, and inclusion in all respects. Financial inclusion, gender, race. From our side, we're doing many things internally and also trying to do the same in society. Maybe one of the biggest initiatives, Marcelo, that we have at BBVA that I'm super proud of is our microfinance foundation. So we can exert change through our own activity. And microfinance is beautiful because it's productive credit. It's financing people with ideas. We do it for non-for-profit through the foundation. And we have supported already more than 5 million people come out of poverty. And most of them are 60% of the clients. Right now, I think we have 2.3 million clients at the foundation. More than 60% are women. 85% of the people who come out of the poverty are women.
So I am committed to helping this cause, and being a Hispanic in the US, right? And having been blessed with what the jobs that I have and the companies and all that, this is one of my personal commitments to try to help. And also my partner, my boss, Masa, he's Korean in Japan. So that's a different type of discrimination. But I'll tell you two things that we're doing. One is, I don't know if most people don't know, but in the US, there's about 9 million families who don't have internet access at home. People think of the US as this superpower, and in many cases, poverty in this country is pretty bad. And then the problem is that 80% of them are either Latinos or they're Black. So one thing that I started the 1 million project, in which we gave away 1 million computers with 1 million free internet access, with the hope to get my competitors, that in my other job as CEO of Sprint, to get my competitors to react and to help me, what is called to once and for all bridge the homework gap, because we can fix it, break it, because kids cannot do homework at home. And then now with the merger with T-Mobile that we just did, we made a commitment to give away 10 million free internet connections, meaning we're going to eradicate that. So that's going to be good for Hispanics, that's going to be good for Blacks. And then in the middle of this disaster, where we had protests, we had looting and all that, SoftBank, I opened what is called the SoftBank Opportunity Fund. And it's a fund dedicated only to support Black and Latin entrepreneurs who didn't have access. When I founded Brightstar, which became the largest Hispanic-owned company in the history of the United States, I didn't have access to venture capital. I didn't have access to private equity. It was really, really hard. And when I saw the numbers, only 1.8% of all venture capital goes to Hispanics and only 1% goes to Blacks. And we are a much bigger part of the population. So I'm so proud we launched this. We've already funded close to 10 businesses. It's $100 million. It's a good start. We have over 700 applications, which is incredible. So we're committed to helping, at least in the US, all the Black and Latino entrepreneurs. And my goal is to expand that throughout the world so we can have a specific fund that can help communities that traditionally didn't have access. And it's not a gift, it's not a grant, it's not a foundation. We make money, we're investing, but we're giving the opportunity to entrepreneurs who didn't have a chance. So we're, and I think, again, both you and I are leaders of global companies. We both have, I guess, the Latin blood or Hispanic blood, and we both operate all over the world. So I look forward to continue to see what you're doing with your foundation. And if you see any opportunities in which we can get SoftBank to partner with BBVA, we would love to try to just make the world a better place and a world that's more equal. So you can count on me for anything that we can work together.
Absolutely, Marcelo. Absolutely. Congratulations on the Opportunity Fund. It sounds extremely exciting, and I think there is plenty of room for us to cooperate. So really looking forward to hooking up on that.
Well, it's been
also
so nice.
Looking forward to meet you in presence.
In person. Thank you. Good luck.
Guys, that was amazing. Thank you so much for participating. What profound insights in so many different sectors, in so many different regions in a short space of time. So thank you again so much, Carlos and Marcelo, for participating. And folks, that's a wrap from us. So back to you at the studio.
Thank you, Marcelo and Carlos. As any entrepreneur will tell you, in every crisis lies an opportunity. And now, on with the pitches. Let's meet the FinTech and InsurTech finalists in the South Summit 100 Startup Competition. But first, a quick recap on how it all works. The 100 competition finalists were selected from thousands of applications, and 2 contestants for each category battle it out during these primetime category finals. The 9 category winners will go through to our grand finale, which is later today. How exciting! Let's say hi again to our wonderful panel of judges who have the difficult job of selecting our South Summit 100 category winners and choosing the overall champion. And here we have our physical jury today in La Nave: Jose Minguez, Head of Innovation Market Iberia, Endesa; Barbara Ozores, Interim Head at Google for Startup Spain; Ainhoa Campo, Global Head of Open Innovation at BBVA; Carmen del Campo, Head of Innovation Mutua Madrileña; Fernando Del Rey, Partner at the Venture City. But that's not all. As you know, every day we have an amazing digital panel of judges. I'm going to ask them all to give me one of those digital high fives. How you all doing, guys? Looking amazing there. From their homes, we have Jose Manuel Cattle, Operational Director at BS Startup, Banco Sabadell; Irene Gomez Luque, Connected Open Innovation Director at Telefonica; Nacho Mateo, Chief of Investor Relations at IE University; Javier Villamizar, Operating Partner at SoftBank; Jeremy Yap, Angel Investor; Oriol Juncosa, Managing Partner at Encomenda Smart Capital; Susie Mayer, Investor at Notion VC. Here they all are. A big welcome to them. So, the 5 competition criteria being used by the judges in their marking are innovation, scalability, team viability, and investability. Each finalist has 3 minutes, that is 3 minutes exactly, to wow our judges. And the jury can ask them 2 questions, a maximum of 2 questions, which have to be answered in 30 seconds. I cannot be more precise on this. Please do not extend the time. Let's start by finding out the names of our 2 category finalists in FinTech and InsurTech, who are... Come on, guys, we talked about this yesterday. Just give me a little drum roll for a bit of excitement. And there it is. And our finalists are Wirex and Singular Cover. Congratulations to them. And so Wirex is an FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, licensed digital payments platform offering the ability to seamlessly buy, hold, exchange, and spend multiple traditional and digital currencies. And here to pitch for a second time, joining us straight from the UK, is their co-founder, Gregory Sokoloff. Take it away, Greg.
Hi, I'm Georgi, co-founder of Wirex. Think of us as a challenger bank built on new rails. The idea we started with 5 years ago was to make it possible to buy coffee with Bitcoin, which was at the time virtually impossible. The industry has changed a lot since then, and so have we. not just offering a prepaid card now, but a functional mobile banking app combining multi-currency accounts and a card with cryptocurrency wallets. Unlike most challenger banks, we're not just trying to marginally improve banking using the same legacy technology. We're using the benefits of blockchain to build a dramatically better offering. We aren't obsessed with the unicorn race, burning through millions of investor money. We're more of a fintech hedgehog, if you will, focused on responsible growth supported by diversified and profitable business model. We have over 3 million users worldwide and 300,000 cards issued in Europe and APAC, with numerous happy client reviews, and it all is living proof that the product is working and is in demand. The main reason why the number of our cards is by far lower than the overall number of users is that we currently only issuing cards in Europe and several Asia-Pacific countries. But we're on track to launching cards in the US this year, followed by Canada and Japan, where we have long waiting lists. It isn't just user numbers that are growing, but all metrics, transaction numbers, volumes, revenues, etc. The best part about this growth is that it is profitable, even in the current challenging environment. Our main revenue generators are exchange and membership fees. We also get revenue share with card issuers, and quite recently became the first company in the world dealing with crypto to be granted principal membership with MasterCard. This allows us to issue cards ourselves directly and will further increase our revenue base. Some figures to show our current scale: 3 billion processed via the platform to date, very healthy revenue growth, and quite a number of transactions happening during this 3-minute pitch. What makes us different from traditional neobanks is the opportunities of the blockchain technology and decentralized finance. What makes us stand out in the crypto space is the rock-solid approach to regulation. We're a licensed e-money institution with UK FCA and are obtaining similar licenses in every geography of operation, which not only secures our position in this heavily regulated space, but also creates high barriers for competitors. We're consistently winning awards, the most impactful one being the FinSum Startup Contest in Tokyo back in 2016, which led to our Series A funding from SBI, SoftBank Investments, which is the largest fintech investor in Japan. On the fundraising side, we also have a consistent track record. Crowdfunding seed round in 2015, then Series A with SBI in 2017, and now we're preparing for another crowdfunding campaign to give a marketing push to the new MasterCard launch and further accelerate our growth. Come join us as customers, investors, or partners. Thank you.
Georgi from Wirex, as he says, consistently winning awards. Will he win at South Summit 2020? Do we have any questions for Georgi in the UK? We have one question on our panel of virtual judges. Do we have any questions on our panel of physical? We have a question on our virtual judges. Jose Manuel Carol, the Director of Operations at B Startup in Banco Sabadell, come with me to the yellow screen. Your question for Georgi.
Hi, Georgie. Congratulations for the presentation and for what are you doing. I would like to know a bit more if you can say the difference between competitors like crypto or Crypterium, which seems quite similar to you, and then how are you going to play also against neobanks like Revolut that have raised quite a lot of money there? Maybe they are not direct or competitors with you, but have some similarities. Can you explain a bit more about this? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. Unfortunately, it's only 30 seconds. So Crypterium, the main difference is where we've got by now, and we're probably, I would say, at least 2 years ahead, maybe more given the licensing capital. And with the likes of Revolut, Monzo, N26, etc., we are nearly there on the fiat side of the offering, but we're heaps ahead on the crypto side of the offering because we offer actual proper working crypto wallets with fiat functionality on top of it.
Thank you very much.
Well, from the UK, unfortunately, we only have 30 seconds, but it looks like you did great in just that time. Do we have any more questions for the UK? Do we have any questions from our digital panel, from our physical panel? It looks like we don't, but I'm going to ask Jose Manuel Caro to just wait a second, because today we have a coincidence in our digital panel of judges and guests. We have somebody else from Sabadell here. Paul Navarro is the CEO at InnoCells, a corporate venture arm and digital innovation hub of Banco Sabadell. So while we give the judges a few minutes to compare notes and mark our first pitch, in the meantime, we'd like to have a little chat with Paul. Welcome, Paul. Tell us, what is a guy like you from a huge corporation doing in a startup-focused event?
Many thanks for inviting us to the event. The main reason that we are here is because we are part of the ecosystem. So banks are not anymore an outsider in terms of innovation and startups. I think that in the past we discussed a lot about the incumbents and the new entrants, but right now everyone is at the same level playing field in this ecosystem. No? So as a bank, we talk a lot about this, but we think that we are a big fintech because banks have been using technology for a long time to transform the back office operations, but also to deliver a completely different customer experience. And you cannot talk anymore about banks and fintech companies. So everyone is a fintech company playing in this ecosystem. No? When we think about other industries, we have seen a lot of industries where the blur lines between retailers, banks, or .com companies are changing. And as banks, we need to learn every day about which are the new roles that we can play in these ecosystems. No? And for us, it's very important to be involved, to learn every day and to be able to experiment and to take risks in terms of innovation and partnering with startups or other companies. No? At the same time, the bank is also an enabling platform. So we think that as a bank, we play a critical role about helping other digital business to be created and to grow. So as few examples of things we do, we provide them with technology, so we can provide them our platform through open banking. We can provide them data to allow them to create new experiences and business opportunities on top of our data. And at the same time, we provide capital for them to start and grow their business. No? So in a nutshell, I think that banks are now fintech companies, and this is the main reason that we are today in this event working with other companies to identify new opportunities.
Thank you so much, Paul Navarro, for this, the CEO of InnoCells, the corporate venture arm and digital innovation hub of Banco Sabadell. Thank you for your time with us today. So, going on to our next startup. Singular Cover from Spain is a platform that allows an SME to purchase a simple, tailored, and affordable insurance product in a 5-minute process. And here to cover their pitch one more time is their CEO and co-founder, Rafael González Montejano. Rafael, the stage is yours.
Hi, I'm Rafael González, CEO and co-founder of Singular Cover, an insurtech specialized in small business insurance. The small business insurance market not only is poorly serviced, but in Southern Europe and Latin alone is valued at anywhere between 40 and 60 billion euros. And why would such an attractive market be so poorly serviced? 3 reasons explain this disconnect between the offer and the supply. 1, insurance companies have high dependency on a physical distribution channel, that is, brokers and agents. 2, insurance companies don't have incentives to digitize the model. It's a model that only represents 10% of the overall business income. And 3, there's no incentives for agents and brokers to specialize in a segment that is very fragmented and pay low commissions. So to capitalize on this opportunity, you need to digitize and automate the full value chain of a very inefficient model that is not suitable for SMEs. If you digitize the distribution side, so SMEs can have direct access to insurance products anywhere, anytime, in a fast, transparent, and easy way. If you digitize the underwriting side, so they can get the right coverage at the right price. And if you digitize and automate the service and claim side, so you can lower expense ratios, you now have a solution for SMEs that gives them a customized insurance protection at much lower cost to us and a better customer experience to them. And this is exactly what we're doing at Singular Cover. Just tell us who you are and what you do for a living. Let our algorithm calculate your risk, and under 3 minutes, you will walk away with a fully customized insurance policy for your business. But to make this model work, you need to deliver two things. One, customer experience, and two, higher gross margins. And this is how it works. If you're an SME, for every 100 euros that you pay your insurance company, 55 will cover claims. Around 17 will cover G&A expenses, salaries, rent, etc. And about 20 to 23 will go to commissions and marketing campaigns. And the remaining 5, if the insurance company is lucky, will go to profit. As a broker, you get to keep at most 15 to 20 euros. But if you own part of these processes and make them more efficient by automating them and digitizing them, you can keep as much as 40 to 45% as gross margin. And when you combine solid unit economics with solid traction, you now have the makings of a very solid company. In little over 12 months, we have acquired 2,200 SMEs in our portfolio and are very close to hitting the 1 million euro mark in annualized premium. We're now prepared to bring in another 10,000 SMEs, build the fully functional servicing and claims platform, and test our first MVP in Latin America. We have a very strong team with diverse skill sets and backgrounds from insurance, banking, product, and digital marketing, combined with a very strong and diversified pool of investors, from corporate investors to VCs to public institutions. With this, we're very confident Singular Cover will become the leading SME insurance provider in our market. Give us a chance. Thank you very much.
Rafael González Montejano has a lot to offer, and he has a great team. He has a great idea, but has he managed to wow any of our judges? Does any one of our judges have a question for Rafael? Any raised hands here? Remember, if you're at home, we need you to raise your hand as close as you can to your face, because if not, we cannot see it. Do we have any? I think we have a question over there from our very own Ainhoa Campbell, the global head of open innovation from BBVA. Remember, if you are in fintech and want to work with BBVA, Ainhoa is who you need to talk to and who you need to know. Ainhoa, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Congrats for the presentation and for focusing in this SME segment that, in my opinion, is one of the trends in the future. And I have two questions, so you can choose. I have many, so I will make you two, and you can choose whatever you want to answer. The first is, where is your competitive advantage in this value proposition that you have, as you are being an aggregator of different solutions and products? Where is your competitive advantage? And second, if you see any kind of collaborations with a bank going further than investment. Thank you.
Thanks, Ainhoa. I will answer both. The competitive advantage, we're not an aggregator, is focus and specialization, which larger insurance don't do. They sell everything for everybody. We focus on SMEs and self-employed. Yeah, that's very much it, and that gives us more focus on the value chain and gross margin. Associations with banks, yes, mostly in Latin America, because bank assurance is taken away in the Spanish market, but we do it with associations.
TikTok, thank you. And we have time for another question. I don't know if we want to allow, you had so many questions for him. Would you like to ask another one, Ainhoa?
I would like to know what are the next steps in your roadmap. If the strategy is to open the product, open geographies, or where is the next jump?
Rafael, take it away. 30 seconds.
Great. Actually, we had a 4-hour meeting yesterday on this, so I'll do it in 30 seconds if possible. One is to fully digitize the value chain. We're 70% done. We have a great distribution model. We have a great pricing model. Now we're going for the claims side. In terms of product, the product needs to be simple, properly priced, and something that SMEs and self-employed understand 100%. And 3, Latin America and Southern Europe is the phase 1 for our expansion. That's pretty much the strategy at high level.
And Rafael, your 30 seconds are up. Great stuff from Rafael. Did he answer both your questions? Thank you, Ainoa, for asking. Ainoa, as Campos, is the global head of open innovation from BBVA. Remember, if you want to talk about fintech, she is the person to be with. I would like to ask you a few questions, Ainoa, while we're here. I'm curious to know, what should a startup do if it is interested in working together with or developing a project with BBVA?
Great question, thank you. We have been, during these last years, we have been developing a whole bunch of different channels, internal processes and awareness in order to facilitate these collaborations with the startups.
Can you just, there
Okay, I will go here. So what we have right now is a pretty good engine in order to make these collaborations with the startups. We have a very good relationship with our different business units in order to arise these needs that they have, and they realize that they need external talents, the help of the ecosystem in order to go to the next level. Once we have that, we use our open marketplace as a platform to publish our needs and these opportunities that the business unit has. And sometimes, once a year, we develop hackathons with this year with 12 challenges, and is now alive, to help to look for this help from the community. Then, once we find out the right startups and the right scale-ups to work with the bank, we put them in touch, and we offer them an internal process called Fast Track that help us to talk in the same language, because startups and corporates don't speak in the same language. And then we put together all the stakeholders in the bank that, as you can imagine, as we are regulated, we have many things in compliance, in legal, in security, and we put all them together at the same time in order to say that this project can be done. During this year, during this COVID year, we have developed all these tools in a digital way, and it has worked pretty well. For example, this year we have done nearly 200 interviews, of quality interviews between startups and the business units, and we have, till now, during this year, we have done 16 pilots, and nowadays 2 of them are scale-ups. We are already working in a daily basis, and 5 of them are we are analyzing the scalability. So this is the way a startup can work with us.
Great stuff from Ainoa, BBVA. Thank you very much. As she says, banks and startups don't speak the same language, but that's why we have South Summit. So thank you very much, Ainoa. We're gonna let our judges have a brief moment of calm, but with the intense time pressure to decide on the category winner for the FinTech and InsurTech. In the meantime, let's welcome back my good friend Oisin Lunny to introduce our next guest. Oisin, come here, man.
Are you ready for a high five fail, my friend?
A high five fail. It's a new salute.
3, 2.
There you go. Social distance high five.
That felt good. Thank you very much, Will.
Thank
Great
you,
to
man.
be back.
The stage is yours.
Thank you, dude. Okay, it's a real pleasure to introduce to the stage the Chief Innovation Officer at Mutua Madrileña, Carmen Del Campo. Welcome to South Summit TV. It's great to see you. I was actually on the Mutua Madrileña website recently, and I noticed you launched a WhatsApp customer care thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, we presented it. It's a really good project, and it's very easy to go to the clients directly because it's a language that everyone is used to. So yes, it's a really good project for us, and we are learning a lot about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And did this come from the innovation part of Mutua Madrileña, which I believe is called Mutual Nova, which you and your team have put together? Talk to us a bit about the Mutual Nova initiative.
Yeah, thank you. Mutual Nova is the new innovation strategy. We've just launched it, and the main change between what we've been doing during the last years is, the first one is we are a holding, so we need to work with our colleagues from Chile, Colombia, from Adeslas, that is the health insurance. And this is the first time we've launched this common strategy, so all of us are working in building a new competitive advantage for the company.
Fantastic. And what are the goals of Mutual Nova?
Well, the main goal is building this impact. So, and for this, we've develop some KPIs that is not only a number of projects. We are also thinking about the number of employees that are engaging with the projects, how we are changing the culture of the company. That is something really, really important for us. Another KPI also is revenues. So how are our revenues impacted by our new innovation strategies? It's a good KPI.
Yeah, indeed, culture eats strategy for breakfast, as they say. It's always good to see companies focusing on the culture.
Yeah.
And innovation doesn't happen in a vacuum. So you mentioned a few different territories there. This is not just about Spain, your innovation program. This is about your kind of global reach. Talk to us a bit about the international strategy with Mutual Nova.
Yeah, well, we are really focused on Chile and Colombia. The companies are Seguros del Estado and BCI because they are main insurance company in these countries. And basically what we are trying to think is, or we're trying to build, is we are working in auto insurance, for example. So if you work with technology, you need to build scalable products, for example, where you want to include a new car in a new insurance and you need to take pictures. In this case, artificial intelligence is, for example, giving us a good asset, and we are sharing these projects with our companies, so that's great.
Fantastic, fantastic. And, you're bringing these radical changes on board, WhatsApp, AI under the hood of like image recognition, that kind of stuff. Talk to us a bit about the 4 axes of the Mutual Nova strategy, which I think is very, very clearly set out, and it really illustrates how it all fits together.
One of the messages we want to share with the ecosystem is every project, every good project has a space in Mutua Madrileña. And this is the reason why we've built these 4 axes you were mentioning. The first one is the Innovation Lab. What we are trying to do is to think about the future, so thinking in the long term and identify these good opportunities that are going to change our business and could put us in a really good position or in a not really good position, and we need to fight about this. This is the first one. The second one could be our investment program. Mm-hmm. So we need to work with really good teams, and good teams like the startups that are presenting here today. And to work with them, you need to make an effort and demonstrate your access to them, and this is through a good investment. The third one is the venture client. Basically, the venture client is when you are providing resources or an experience of the company to help to reach a really good agreement with this startup and to work with them in the company. And the last one, but not the least important, because this is really next to the culture of the company, that is the entrepreneurship program, where we are delivering projects, but just with our internal capacities. And our main goal for this year is how we make the mix between the ecosystem and our employees, because there is a really good relation in the exchange of our business knowledge and the experience they have about the ecosystem and about what's changing in the insurance sector.
Fantastic. So you're striking that right balance between entrepreneurship and engaging with the startup ecosystem, that nice healthy tension there. Talk to us a bit about how Mutual Nova, the kind of initiation of it, affects your relationship with the startup ecosystem, with a view to anybody who might be watching thinking, oh, I'd like to get involved.
Yeah, so thank you very much, because this is a really good opportunity for me, because the message we are sending to the ecosystem is, please come to us. We are asking for really good projects. We are waiting for you. And the reason why we are delivering a new innovation strategy is because we really want to work with them. We really want to provide value to them. So this is not just a resources issue. So this is something where we want to create a win-win relationship for the long term. So for me, it's the main message.
Fantastic. So if anybody's watching and you want to get involved, you heard it directly from Carmen there. Mutual Nova are waiting for your call. Reach out and get involved in the Mutual Nova program. Thank you so much, Carmen Del Campo, for joining us here on South Summit TV. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my friend and yours, Will. Where are you, man?
Innovation through collaboration, Carmen. Oisin, thank you very much. Thank you to Mutua Madrileña for being with us here. So, it looks like it's excitement o'clock again, and another exquisite Madrid bonsai is going to find a new home. So, we're having a very special guest to announce the FinTech and InsurTech category winner. Welcome on the stage here in Madrid, the B Startup Advisor at Banco Sabadell, Elena Garcia. Elena, a huge welcome to La Nave. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, hello.
How you doing?
I do.
You have that envelope?
Yeah, I have the envelope, finally.
Do we have a drum roll?
Well, actually we know that for the jury it has been a real hard decision, but because of the quality of the project. But finally we have the winner, and the winner for South Summit 2020 for FinTech and InsurTech track is Singular Cover from Spain.
Singular Cover from Spain, home team. Thank you very much for being with us here. Thank you. Congratulations to Singular Cover. Okay, Nicholas Carey is a serial entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take the stage from here. It's great having you here. Nicholas Carey is a serial entrepreneur and lifelong technologist. He is founder and CEO of Blockchain.com, the world's leading digital assets platform with $70 million in VC investments from leading VCs. Elizabeth Rossiello is co-chairperson at the World Economic Forum Global Fourth Industrial Revolution Council on Blockchain. Nicholas and Elizabeth, the future of blockchain is yours.
So thank you for coming to London headquarters here, and I can't wait to catch up anyway. Yeah. It's been far too long.
Thanks, Nick.
Let's go back now to sort of the start, maybe put us in your feet at 2013. You learned about this thing called Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. People are probably telling you it's career suicide. It's an idea that's never going to work. What is your headspace, and like, how are you thinking about starting a company? Like, walk me through the process.
So, I mean, unlike a lot of the listeners here, maybe I was outside of this bubble. I was living in Nairobi, Kenya. I had been living in Kenya for 5 years, and this is the time mobile money was really taking off in Kenya.
Yep.
So M-Pesa was there. M-Pesa just means money in Swahili. So I've been working a lot with finance institutions and little banks that were using mobile money to really lower their operating costs. So when I heard about Bitcoin, it was just like, oh, this is M-Pesa for the rest of the world. So when I started BitPesa back then, it seemed obvious.
That's so cool. And I always love that story where Africans in Kenya were using mobile money way before people in New York or London or Hong Kong were. So.
But what got you involved in cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so I had grown up internationally, and I think my interest in economics, politics, and being a lifelong nerd, having always worked in technology, when I discovered cryptocurrency, it sort of was the collection of all those things in one place. Yeah. And most of us will spend our entire lives in pursuit of money so that we can invest in our experiences, maybe raise a family, and help out our communities. But I don't think most people spend a lot of time thinking about why their money has value. And when I discovered that it was possible for a computer system to create scarcity through its design and then essentially create a resilient transactional capability globally, I was like, this is inevitable. We need to be able to send money over the internet and precious information as reliably as sending emails.
But isn't that about just this ownership and having a wallet, having an account, which you guys were the first, and that was 7 years, 10 years before anybody else had that idea?
To be honest, we're still having the same conversation with people today as we were a few years ago, but that's okay. I think financial services and financial literacy are a really intimidating topic for most people. Yeah. And so we will continue to sort of upskill and educate people about why having control over your own money is important. So let's get back to your company real quick. So what are your ambitions for AZA, which is the parent company for BitPesa and the other products you offer?
Sure. So when we started building, we were highly connected to this one company brand of M-Pesa, which is owned by Vodacom, right? So when they went offline, we went offline. And then we decided, well, what happens if we connect to another last mile in Uganda? And then another one in Tanzania, and then another in Nigeria, Morocco, UK, Europe, China. And suddenly we grew roots and were able to do on and off ramps into all these currencies. And then when we suddenly realized, which was, I guess, this kind of self-sustaining thing that cryptocurrency and entrepreneurship bring, which is, well, we can own this ourselves now. We don't have to rely on anybody else. And now, we're one of the largest players in the market, and we're trading currencies, crypto and fiat, and what we're able to do is when the market goes offline, when the telco goes offline, when the government says, wait, no more dollars allowed. Yeah. All these SMEs, all these businesses are like, I can't pay my supplier. I can't pay for pharmaceuticals. Right. I can't pay my marketing company. And we're just helping these businesses, our B2B clients, buy and sell and make payments around the world. And we're really doing it. A lot of crypto land is like,
I have a theory that my product will go live, but if you look at our chart,
those are real world use cases.
Yeah, it's
so
been
much
growing.
to be proud of. That is awesome. So you're a mom, you're a wife, you've got lots of kids now, and congrats on your new one. Founder and CEO, and you do stuff at Davos. Like for young women out there that might be looking up to a role model like you, what are some tips or advice you might give to people that are thinking about, well, should I do my own thing, or should I do what my parents expect, or how do I make these decisions or think about
I get a lot
those?
of questions like this. People follow me into the bathroom at conferences. They're like, Elizabeth. And it really is, I don't want to be like this role model or spokesperson, but it's scary. Every time I go a little bit further, there's less and less women.
Yeah.
And I find, wow, I got into this cool program and I'm sitting in a room with 50 candidates and I'm the only woman, and I'm like, what year is it? And the other thing I think is like, being the head of a family, or, being a parent, a dad or a mom, you're a multitasker. And I think what we've seen, we have 150 employees now, and over time we've had over 200 employees. The people that can kind of hack it and do well, especially in a high-risk environment where we work, you can't get overwhelmed by all the things you have to do. You can't be thinking about dinner or a school report or your shareholders or the Nigerian currency dropping by half overnight. You have to think, I'm at an interview right now, and later I'm at a marketing call, and after I'm going to call my shareholder, and one by one you just take off your challenges. So what I think the best thing that I learned being a parent and being a CEO is one thing at a time, just one foot in front of the other, one brick after the other, and just, you'll get to it.
Yeah, so it's like resilience, patience, and then efficacy. Interesting. Okay, so one of the last things I wanted to cover a little bit with you, this year has been a really challenging one for all businesses. How are you encouraging your team to stay motivated? How have you guys adapted the way you work? And what do you think is going to be a permanent change? And what are the things you think will maybe go back to normal from a work perspective?
I think for me this year, I've really taken my values and felt more and more comfortable putting them into action. And we just have to open our mind. So I really have felt confident and vocal this year, encouraging my team to do that. And I think what that ends up happening is then the team feels bought in, and they feel strong, and they feel connected. And really, when you're working from home, that's what you need. When you're not seeing everybody every day, and you have employees in 6 different countries, 6 different cultures, religions, races, tribes. Oh my gosh, the difference between our Kenyan and our Nigerian team, or even our Senegalese Christian and Senegalese Muslim team. And that's exciting because it means we're all working as one. And the more of a focused culture you get, I think the stronger it is. When you're like, yeah, we kind of believe that a little bit, watered down.
Yep.
But when you really go full heart on, and I say, let's get radical a lot, like, don't be afraid to get radical.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one here at blockchain.com. I mean, this year we started off, we had 5 offices, we've reduced that commercial footprint, and we've had to make changes across the teams.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think software companies all had a little bit of an advantage in was already working, especially across time zones.
Especially
and
the
using
engineers.
A lot of the tools so that we could collaborate anyway. But it didn't change the anxiety, I think, that people are experiencing in the world from the news cycle, from their social media channels, from their family members. And so we've been trying to maintain as much as we can, sort of a positive and I'd say spirit around the work we're doing, and reminding everyone that the world is in a scary place right now, but it will get better again. And one of the things we're really leaning into is the mission and the values. And I think when things get when there's a lot of adversity in the world, going back to those fundamentals really does provide sort of a North Star to things.
And do you think fintechs are responsible for having kind of moral compass more than traditional financial institutions?
I totally think we do. And one of the reasons for that is, especially here at blockchain.com, when we hire, we're looking for people that understand that we are trying to build an alternative financial system and shape a new outcome, one that we are not inheriting from some 50-year-old legacy status quo, but one that we're helping shape and create a better world from. But ultimately, that to me is like systemic change. They're going to go take risks, they're going to take the things they learned, and hopefully go build something interesting and that's useful.
And they're not going back to, HSBC.
That's right. So anyway, I think we've got probably time for maybe 1 or 2 more things here. And if every crisis is an opportunity, where do you see the silver lining this year for cryptocurrency, digital assets, and maybe just fintech in general?
Well, I think fear is gone, right? But I mean, when you get rid of fear, kind of like I was saying before, when you start a company outside, when you make that choice, you know, you can then move faster. So a lot of clients and a lot of customers were afraid to work with a fintech, afraid to have crypto exposure, and kind of every year it's changed. We're afraid, we're hyped. We're afraid, we're hyped, you know? And I think what this has done is said, you know, companies that work from home, companies that are distributed, companies that are run by people under 50, it's okay, it doesn't matter as long as it works. Huge. How about for you guys?
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. We have this saying here, we're calling it short molecules, long electrons, meaning the sort of physical infrastructure of the world is being transitioned into a digital medium. And so we think that, you know, the inevitability of a money over the internet seems more true today than at any point in time. There's a real tectonic shift that's occurring, and not everyone is quite aware of it yet, but we're sort of feeling it. That, you know, the policy response by the central banks and the Federal Reserve globally has been to massively inflate the amount of money created to pay for these huge programs, to you know, and basically kick the can down the road. And the debt levels are unbelievable today. They're higher than they were at the end of World War II, and we haven't fought a war. And so every time they create more money, the value of people's savings deteriorates. And so I think cryptocurrency and digital assets and fintech companies sit at a real nexus of being the solution for people that understand this problem.
Do you feel your clients maturing with you? You know, so many of those with now money to invest are people who are able to be computer savvy, to work online, the younger and younger workforce, and they've grown up with TikTok, they've grown up with wallets that you guys invented. I mean, they've grown up with this idea that your money is 2 taps away. And when we first started offering $1 million foreign exchange trades, we did this research and it said anybody doing over $100,000 or even $50,000 is scared to use a phone, they want to use a laptop. You know, the treasurer feels more comfortable with a laptop. 3 years later, the research showed 70% change. The same people who were said, I trust a laptop more than a phone, now said they trust the phone. And that was just in like middle-aged treasurers. Think about all the people that are, you know, coming up right now. And I think, you know, that's who you've been building for all along. And it's been exciting to see that, you know, we don't really need everybody to agree with us.
Yep, and I think the view we've always had was it was going to be a long journey. And, you know, both my partner and I are really into long distance running, and it's one of the things we practice because we think it creates that resiliency so that you can manage the day-to-day chaos of whatever it is that day.
Yeah.
You know, volatility in the market, personal life, you know, issues, a flood in the office, whatever it is. And I think, like you mentioned, having that patience and leaning into your values is really ultimately what creates an enduring institution. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming to London today and having us here. We hope that everyone at South Summit has a very healthy and socially distanced, successful event. Thank you.
Great.
Mind-blowing stuff, and a reminder that it's a time to make friends with blockchain if you haven't already. It is here to stay. So let's move on into an area which has undoubtedly seen a lot of upheaval during the pandemic, consumer trends. Did you know that according to the McKinsey analysis, e-commerce grew more in 90 days in the spring of 2020 than it did over the previous 10 years? We are of course looking for the opportunities within the crises, but that is it. What is coming next year? Maybe it'll be one of our 2 category finalists, who are Shop Advisor and Material Exchange. Congratulations to the both of you. Why don't you both take a moment to feel the warm glow of qualification, but don't take too long because it is time to get your pitches on. So we're going to start with Spain's Shop Advisor. They have been described as the first collaborative community for consumer goods that interconnects consumers, brands, and retailers' needs. Their CEO and co-founder, Diego Chorny, is here to evangelize. Diego, the stage is yours. Give it to us.
Do you check ratings and reviews before making decisions? 90% of consumers do. Let me share how Shop Advisor is changing the way we make decisions to buy supermarket products by giving the voice to consumers. Supermarkets are full of new and unfamiliar products, and we don't have clear information to make right choices. We face 3 uncertainties. Will I like the product? Is it healthy? Can I save money with a better or similar product? Shop Advisor answers the 3 questions. It's a kind of TripAdvisor for the supermarket products. When you scan a product, you will see the reviews of people similar to your profile, the nutrition facts and allergens with alerts, and recommendations based on your profile and targeted discount coupons to save money. On top, consumers can try millions of products for free in exchange for giving their opinion on everything they consume. That's how we generate millions of reviews and consumer reports, blending online and offline data. Our business is based in data, and it's scalable. We own a community that provides different services that we monetize with retailers and brands. We started charging a fee for consumer reports and generating traffic to our retail partner. Last year, only in France, we made 3.2 million euros in revenues, generating 1,000 consumer reports and 1 million transactions. Now, we're investing in technology to enter new big markets, the generation and broadcasting of ratings and reviews, smart discount coupons, and online advertising powered with artificial intelligence. It's a growing market of 100 billion euros, and brands are looking for solutions to generate reviews and improve efficiencies in coupons and advertising. Our competitors offer individual services, but there is no engaged community like ShopAdvisor, providing independent and reliable information. Our model is very efficient, and we have a strong network effect, creating barriers for competitors. We are profitable, and we have monthly recurrent revenues with contracts signed till 2023. With our 1 million users, we have generated 17 million reviews for more than 1,000 companies. And brands trust our community. They use ShopAdvisor reviews in their advertising. We have an experienced team. The three main partners come from C-level positions in Carrefour, Walmart, Unilever, and a Latin American retailer. We are a team of 60 multicultural people passionate for reinventing this industry. We are profitable, we signed a partnership with Carrefour, and the Spanish government is supporting us. Spain, UK, and US will be our next countries, and we plan our first fundraise to invest in technology and expansion. There is a big opportunity to improve this industry by giving the voice to consumers and connecting people, retailers, and brands. Join us in this exciting journey. Thanks.
Diego, ShopAdvisor, join us, he says. Does any of our judges want to join Diego into asking him a question about something? We have questions both from our physical and digital panel. Susie Mayer, we're going to go with you. Come with us to the yellow screen and ask the first question to ShopAdvisor.
Thanks a lot for the great presentation. I was just wondering about the network effect that you touched on. Would you mind to elaborate a little bit about them and how it works?
Okay, thank you. There's two things in the network effect. First of all, it's the more people that comes into ShopAdvisor, it's the quantity of reviews are being able to give better recommendations to the rest of the people. And when you travel to another country, you will be able to use the same application with what you know in your country to recommend products in another country, or maybe in languages you don't know. And from the brands now, when we create the database of products and we do the research for all in benchmark, they ask to have the performance measured compared by countries. Data we have, the more barriers we bring to people.
TikTok, Diego, TikTok, you're going over time, but there's more questions for you. Thank you, Susie. Diego, don't worry, you're going to be able to add more information to there. I think we had somebody on our physical panel who wanted to ask a question too. Fernando, he was with us. He's been with us for a few days now. Fernando, what is your question for Diego?
Diego, thanks for your pitch. I want to know a little bit more, how do you build community, especially when going into another country?
Well, we partner with retailers that they send us traffic to our website because they want us to send these people to their stores and to bring information about their private label and all the assortment to manage better the assortment. And then we partner also, we have another contract signed with Balasis, a big coupon company, that they gave us coupons so we can give these coupons and bring people to the platform. We have some paid advertising, but mainly we have member and partners. So we are very efficient in terms of building the community.
Thank you, Diego, and thank you, Fernando Del Rey from Venture City. Okay, while our judges get all judgy on ShopAdvisor, let's meet our next invited experts. Joining us here in La Nave, we have Juan Carlos Lopez Carretero, Head of Partnership at BBVA, who will be chatting with our virtual guest, Lucina Hanas, Head of EMEA Payment Partnership at Google. Guys, take the floor. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Lucina.
Hello, Juan. How are you?
No, very good, very good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So let's talk about what we have announced together, which I think is pretty exciting. BBVA US will launch accounts, digital bank accounts, through Google Pay. And these are co-branded accounts. BBVA is in the first batch of banks offering these different accounts that will cater to customer needs. And all this will be available next year.
Yes, correct. This is very exciting. So to add on a couple of information on top of what you just said, Juan, on our side, on Google side, we will provide for this new experience the front end, seamless UX, and financial insights. All of that in collaboration with BBVA and actually 8 additional banks that are convinced by our proposition, that have signed with us in the US. And the final goal of this product is to provide a truly open platform and give the users the best available choice.
This is just so exciting. I think one has to think, how did it come about between you and us? I think is, first of all, what makes this possible is the investments we made over the years in open banking, in Open Platform US, which essentially allows us to embed financial products in the platform of our partner. And second is the trust of a long-term relationship that we have with Google.
Correct. Actually, it's not the first partnership, the first signature, right, that BBVA and Google drove together. BBVA collaborations with Google are actually long-standing. So BBVA was one of the first large companies to use Google suite of apps like Gmail, Calendar, etc. And also one of the first ones that actually signed and launched for our Google Pay product in Spain.
Absolutely, and even last year, we announced something very sophisticated. We have worked together with Google Cloud on an artificial intelligence model to predict customers' revenues and expenses. So that predictability is fantastic.
Yes, so we have indeed many, many different, very exciting partnerships. And in all of that, actually, Google is relying on BBVA's banking experience, international footprint as well, right? We shouldn't forget that BBVA is not only available in Spain, but in many, many different countries that are interested also for our products. This payment experience, actually, and financial technology that are built by us, together with BBVA expertise, will bring the best and the most seamless user experience that is finally based on both companies, again, expertise and experience.
Yeah, and I think this will...
And one more question.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more question from my side to you, Juan. You know, when I'm listening to us, I really have the impression that it's not, you know, the end of our journey, but only the beginning, right? What do you think?
Yes, yes, because if you look at BBVA strategy, what we say very explicitly is we ought to meet our customers where they are. And you see, a digital native is watching YouTube, is looking at the phone, like Google Maps, paying with Google Pay. So Google is a fantastic partner to allow us to be there where our customers are.
Correct, yeah. And on our side, again, this partnership is very interesting and crucial for our development because we really see our banking partners as truly, true allies and true partners. We are building our platform that actually goes against the idea of, big companies competing against the banks. Instead, we want to provide user interface and technology that will allow the banks to flourish, reach their existing and also new customers with more exciting products, with more functionalities, more services in a more contextual way.
Yes, Lucina, I think you're talking about the future of banking. I think when technology companies and financial institutions work together, this is not only the future of banking, I think is the customer who really benefits. So I think it's win-win-win.
Exactly. We are all very excited by this collaboration, as you can see.
Super.
Yes, I think it's as you mentioned before, Juan, it's a win-win-win situation. We want to build the best of what's available, what's possible, and we really want to go hand in hand with great partners like BBVA.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lucina.
Thank you, Juan.
It is a win-win-win for South Summit. Juan from BBVA, Lucina from Google, connecting on South Summit 2020. And now let's move ahead with category finalists 2, Material Exchange, a platform that connects the world's largest fashion brands with their material suppliers. The pandemic has helped them to power interactions between 100 brands, 400 suppliers, and 35,000 kinds of materials. Joining us again from Sweden, please welcome their CEO, Darren Glenister.
My name is Darren Glenister and I'm CEO of Material Exchange. The problem we're solving is digitizing the relationship between brands and material suppliers. These materials are typically the materials that we use to produce finished footwear and apparel items. Fashion has been trying for a long time to clean itself up. It's trying to become more transparent, and brands are trying to get more direct relationships with their material suppliers. Material Exchange is a single digital platform that connects brands with material suppliers and actually has the material suppliers' information in a digital form. This means that information is available immediately to brands across the globe. Our platform has two sides. The first is brands, the brands who search the system for materials. And then we have the material suppliers who actually manage their own material data and upload digital representations of their materials. This means that the platform itself is the connecting point, and it means that brands can choose their materials as well as their suppliers through our platform. We have three very positive outcomes from our system. The first is that we have digital material data in one central location, and this could be used for digital product creation, which is now becoming more in demand to reduce the need for physical samples. Also, supply chains can be adjusted, and we've seen the geopolitical situation has pushed that, as well as COVID. And then lastly, we have transparency. By having the information in one place, brands can make better choices over the materials they choose. We work with some of the leading industry partners to deliver the solution, including the FDRA, which is the most influential footwear organization in the world. We also work with leading technology companies to provide our solution. We have a large target audience. We've set a goal of targeting 800 of the biggest brands in the world, as well as 45,000 of the biggest suppliers. We have a few competitors in the space which are indirect. The first is called Li & Fung, which is a sourcing company. The second is a PLM company called Bamboo Rose. And the third is Swatchbook, which is a 3D visualization company. We now have achieved success with over 30 brand groups and work with over 100 individual brands, have over 350 suppliers and 33,000 materials. Our biggest customers include Walmart and actually even Camper from Spain. We've seen a massive increase in the number of brands wishing to get engaged digitally in our platform during COVID. We have more brands during March to July than we did in the whole of 2019. We've also seen a massive increase in the number of suppliers, and we have some of the biggest suppliers in the world. And of course, we've got a lot of materials. And we've now partnered with some of the biggest digital shows for footwear and apparel. Our team comes from within the industry. I previously built a company where I started working with Adidas and then eventually sold it to one of the biggest PLM companies in Boston called PTC. Also, my team have been with me through that journey. We understand about fashion, we understand about fashion tech. We have closed 2 million in funding, and we're just about to close another 4 million. And I thank you for listening to Material Exchange.
Darren from Material Exchange trying to thread his way into the final of South Summit 2020. But did he wow any of our judges? Do you have any questions for Darren in Sweden? We have one question on the digital panel, and we have several questions on our physical panel. We're going to start with Irene Gomez from Virtual. Come over here and ask your question to Darren in Sweden.
Thank you, Darren, for your pitch. My question is about how many time and efforts takes to this manufacturer to digitalize their products. It's something that they need to do by themselves. Are you doing for them? Is something specific about hardware needed to do that?
It depends on the brand's requirements. At the most basic level, a supplier can digitize their own materials in a matter of days by using a flatbed scanner. But if a brand is using 3D digital product creation processes, they will require a higher quality scan. We actually have our own scanning hub that can take the materials. We offer that as a service. In the future, we hope all suppliers will be able to do that themselves as the cost of hardware is coming down.
Thank you very much.
And scanning his answer in less than 30 seconds. We're going to move on to our physical panel of judges here. My guys here on the set. Carmen, Come with me to the yellow panel.
I've just one question about the materials you are sharing in your platform. Your platform is focused on sustainability. Is this sustainability also applied to the materials you are uploading and sharing with brands?
Yeah, the industry has a long way to go for sustainability. So we take all materials, but we do differentiate the materials that are deemed sustainable. And there are around 500 different standards where materials can be deemed as sustainable. We work with the majority of the most important ones so that the sourcing people, designers can make better choices with the materials that they choose for the product creation processes.
And great question from Carmen from Mutua Madrileña. Okay, and now it's almost time to unveil the winner of the all-important consumer trends category. But I've just heard that our judges are still judging. And as it's such a close decision, but luckily, we happen to have some awesome people on standby to buy the judges some more quality time for their own thoughts. Nick Nash is the managing partner and co-founder of Asia Pan Partners. Nick is joined by our very own beautiful Liz Fleming, tech maven, early stage investor, and ecosystem catalyst par excellence. Nick and Liz, the floor is yours.
Hello, Nick.
Hi, Liz. How you doing?
Good. It's great to see you. It's great to connect here at South Summit TV.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me all the way from Singapore.
Yeah, not at all. Next time we'll try and get you here in person, but here we are now for this virtual event. Nick, we'll give you a nice introduction there, but my goodness, have you been busy? You are at the core, by the looks of it, of the ecosystem in Southeast Asia, and you look to be doubling down on the bets you've made there. Tell me, as an American in Southeast Asia, landed in Singapore, what is the opportunity? What is after driving you to the region?
We've always believed that the emerging market journey is actually based on some very fundamental, almost meat and potato principles. Middle-class families are getting more affluent. They want to access the better things in life, things that provide quality of life and opportunity through a digital channel. And here in Southeast Asia, we're home to about 10% of the world's population, literally 650 million people. But we have an incredibly unfair advantage, which is that we get to see a little bit of the movie trailer, almost like the answer key to the examination for what happened up in China, what happened before that in Korea and Japan, what happened even before that in the United States when it comes to all things digital. When my first IC public back in 2017, in many ways it was a synthesis of what had worked so well up in China for Alibaba and Tencent and e-commerce and games. We got a chance to do that here in Southeast Asia 10 years later. But the amazing thing is that China didn't end after Alibaba and Tencent's IPOs many years ago. In fact, China kept going in many different directions. So the journey we're on right now is the completion of our ecosystem, following not exactly a perfect carbon copy of what happened up north, but enough similarity that we can actually see in a pretty clear way where this region is heading. It's going to have a fintech ecosystem. It's going to have an edtech ecosystem. There's going to be incredibly important online travel businesses that thrive. COVID notwithstanding, they'll still be there. There's going to be a whole group of vertical e-commerce businesses. And the thing that we find very compelling, and I can speak a little personally about this because I had the great pleasure of ringing that bell on the New York Stock Exchange all those years ago, we think that at least 10 to 15 of those companies from Southeast Asia will go public. They'll probably go public in the US, and they'll probably go public over the next 5 to 10 years. So our mission as former entrepreneurs ourselves is to band together to help the entrepreneur out and to be there with them on that journey. I always say that the guy that climbed Mount Everest, Edmund Hillary, I think there's a statue of him somewhere back in New Zealand, but the Sherpa who helped him up, Tenzing Norgay, he should have become a venture capitalist because he knew exactly what to help the next generation of entrepreneurs with, how to climb up that mountain.
That is incredible, Nick. I guess, of course, that's really the difference that you guys can make, because you've kind of been there and done it before. It's amazing as well that you can kind of get this insight from China and almost take this playbook and apply it to the region. So the ecosystem has grown dramatically in recent years. You've had a front seat to all of that and played a significant role in that. Where is it right now? You get a good insight in terms of what's coming in the future, but where are you today? And I suppose what else is required within the ecosystem to realize this vision that you see for technology in the sector, in the region?
Where we are today, if you almost think of an advent calendar at Christmas time, those little calendars with the chocolates of the 24 or 12 days of Christmas, we're basically about 11 years time shifted from where China is today. The China circa 2020 is the land of TikTok, it's the land of cloud computing, it's the land of a new generation of enterprise software startups. Right now, we're basically where China was in, give or take, 2009. You're starting to see the very first e-commerce startups going public, the first video game startups going public, all the thing that was very exciting, the bee's knees back in 2009. In addition to that, we're probably a decade or two behind even that, where India and China were from a talent perspective back in 2009. And that's an interesting challenge for our region. We haven't had as many clusters of engineering universities like the great universities of Spain and the rest of Europe that have generated the talent we'll need for the future. So in many ways, what we do have an incredible opportunity ahead of us, tons of incredible market opportunity, literally 10% of the world, but we're probably a few steps behind, shifted to some other markets, and we're a few steps behind in terms of some of the resources we need to get there. But never fear, capitalism finds a way. If the market opportunity is there, if customers want the services, companies will find a way to deliver them to them. And they'll bring together some of the best talent from different parts of Asia and frankly, even Europe and North America to serve those customers. So where are we? I think we're at the beginning of a golden decade, a 10-year period that probably started right around now or a year ago, where the future is indeed very bright for Southeast Asia.
Super exciting. I love that when you talk about how, money will follow the markets. If you can demonstrate the market, the investors will come. I think that's something that we can learn from as well in this part of the world. And Nick, finally, can you give us a little bit of insight? And you mentioned some of the verticals that you think are, about to explode in Southeast Asia now. Can you dive into a little bit of the type of consumer trends, maybe the type of applications and solutions people are craving for, things are just starting to take off? There's always nuances and differences in different regions between Latin America and Europe and Southeast Asia, let's say. So what are some of the curiosities there that you see maybe on the way that might not be as obvious to where we are in the markets in Europe, for example?
Of course. Well, it's such a pleasure, Liz, talking to you about this, not just because we're Kaufman buddies, but also because sitting in Europe, you actually have an understanding of what Southeast Asia is like, because you're in a part of the world with 7 to 10 different countries, all with different strengths and weaknesses and complexity. That's so different than a monolithic China or a monolithic US or a monolithic India, for that matter, if India can be called monolithic. So it's great to have this dialogue with you. Let me summarize 3 things that are probably not very well understood outside in about what's happening here on the ground. We've already talked about the opportunity, the nature of time shifting, the chance to learn from near neighbors here in Asia. But here are 3 things that are maybe a little bit less obvious. The first thing is, despite the fact that we've got 7 to 10 countries of varying scale, the code was cracked about 4 or 5 years ago on how to bring them all together under one logo, one company. It's a little bit of what Unilever and Danone and Nestle figured out in consumer in Europe over the past 40, 50 years. And I have to say, it's not easy, but the code has been cracked. Sea's journey to a $78 billion market cap now, Grab and a handful of others, there's enough proof points that this is addressable on a regional level. That's a game changer because now you can go public at real scale. And that has hitherto been challenging, but is now a solved concept. Hard, yes. Solvable, yes as well. The second really interesting observation is I divide emerging markets, and frankly the world, into 2 kinds of tech ecosystems. Ecosystems where telcos are very, very powerful and very dominant. You're seeing that in India right now with Jio. You saw that in Japan in the 1990s and early 2000s with NTT Docomo. Of course, that in Latin America with the America Mobile penetration across the region. But Southeast Asia is different. In some ways, it's a little bit more like the United States. Got there for different reasons. No one telco dominates enough of it. Certainly in the US after '84 with the Ma Bell breakup, and likewise in Southeast Asia because of 7 to 10 countries, no one telco dominates the region to a level where it would actually perhaps take some of the oxygen out of the room, as that may be happening in other parts of the world. That's a real positive. And the final aspect, which is sort of really interesting, is that unlike China, unlike Korea, unlike Japan, there isn't a unified messaging app that's the go-to app. China's got WeChat. Korea, of course, has Kakao. Japan has Line. When those businesses exist, they, in their own sort of way, supply oxygen to companies that are part of their ecosystem and take oxygen away from those that aren't. There is no equivalent here in Southeast Asia, which probably makes it a little harder to stay in touch with your friends, but it also creates a lot more opportunity for startups because it's a little bit more of a level playing field. There is no one ring to rule them all that you have to pay obeisance to. It's just many different players can create application ecosystems. In fact, the two most prominent super apps in our region are both based on ride sharing, which is very, very unique relative to other parts of the world. So I share these three maybe unusual facts about our region to illustrate that it's a very unique market, very much its own person, so to speak, vis-a-vis other parts of Asia. But there, so I think is the opportunity for investors and entrepreneurs to build something very special here.
Amazing, Nick. You make it sound pretty irresistible. And now with the world all in remote, there's probably more and more international talent willing to get up and land in your part of the world, also with its beautiful climate and cultural diversity. Nick, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much. You brought the first Southeast Asian company to IPO in the US. Can't wait to see the next 10, 15 IPOs you're going to get under your belt. Thanks for being with us at this year's edition of South Summit.
Great stuff, Liz. See you soon and stay very safe for you and your family.
Take
good
care. Thank you.
And thank you, Liz. Thank you, Nick. Nick Nash, cracking the code from Southeast Asia. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Okay, our judges have made their final decision, and we are delighted to welcome back our good friend Ainhoa Campo from BBVA to announce the winner. Ainhoa, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
Looking amazing as always.
Very happy to be here.
Very happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're gonna have a drum roll for this?
Yes, sure. First of all, I want to thank you, you guys, for sharing with us this inspiring business that give us great food for discussion among the jury. So let's go with the drums.
And who is our winner?
So the winner is Material Exchange from Sweden.
Material Exchange from Sweden. Congratulations, man. Thank you very much, Ainhoa. Okay, while consumer trends have been heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, travel and tourism ground to a complete halt almost everywhere due to the lockdowns. Hotels shut their doors, airplanes stayed on the ground, and holidays were canceled by the thousands. As one of the world's leading travel destinations, this is a very big deal for Spain. In 2018, international tourism expenditure in Spain was valued at almost 6 billion euros, and the figures were predicted to rise. But what now? How can the sector emerge from its biggest crises yet? Let's explore the future of travel and tourism. We are honored to be joined by 4 leading experts to discuss the building resilience, taking the travel and tourism industry to the next level. Please welcome Kike Sarasola, president and founder of Roommate Group, who own Roommate Hotels, B-Mate Apartment, and Roommate Beach, and much more. Luis Maroto, president and CEO at Amadeus, and Gabriel Perdiguero, the chief transformation officer at Iberia. And finally, Juan Jose Güemes, chairman of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center and professor of entrepreneurship at IE University. We are connecting with the 4 seasons now.
Hello, South Summit. I'm Juan José Güemes, Chairman of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center at IU University and former Secretary General for Tourism of Spain. And I'd like to welcome these travel and tourism leaders. They are here with us to talk about how to build resilience in the industry and especially about talking about the future of tourism after this pandemic. And doing it in this wonderful hotel because we are in the Four Seasons. They just opened a few days ago, and it is a gorgeous hotel, elegant hotel in Madrid downtown, and I wish them really good luck. And we have with us Quique Sarasola. Quique is the founder and the president of Roommate, and one of the most charismatic leaders of the tourism industry. And Quique, tell us how are you managing the situation? That's very difficult for hoteliers.
Well, the situation was very complicated when it began. Our first concern in Roommate was how could we help? So we gave 13 of our hotels and 4 of our apartment buildings to the different cities, New York, Milan, Madrid, Barcelona, to be able to locate the local doctors and nurses in the different cities so that they could have a place to rest. No? We also helped with elderly in Madrid and in Barcelona. So it was a very beautiful moment at the beginning because we thought that really this pandemic was going to last not so long, 6 months. What happened? It's been longer. So right now the situation has gotten more complicated. With this second round of infections, I think we are really looking that it is a long-term problem, and I think we have to learn how to live with the problem. No, we have to learn how to manage it, and we have to take all the sanitary measures. But I think there's something very important is that we should all really try and help to see how we can give confidence again so that the travelers can travel, the tourists can travel, because we have to think that tourism is the backbone of our economy. So if this doesn't recuperate, our countries are not going to recuperate, especially Spain.
So Quique, you have lost revenues, but you have made an immense social impact by hosting in your hotels health workers, physicians, nurses during these months of the pandemic.
Thank you. Yes, we did a social impact, and for us it was very important to help, and all my team was really united, and it's been an incredible experience. It's been so beautiful to be able to help the community and to really give our little hand in helping it. And it created a huge uproar of people with solidarity, and I think that's one of the big issues that have come out, especially in our country, is the solidarity movement has been incredible.
So Luis Maroto is the president and CEO of Amadeus, and Amadeus is a sort of big brother of the tourism industry. You can see almost everything. What can you tell us about the situation of the travel industry?
Well, I think as Quique mentioned, the situation is difficult because it has been one of the most impacted sectors. However, we see a lot of work between the different players to really try to see how things are going to evolve in the future and working into the recovery mode. Of course, at the beginning, everybody was working in trying to manage the situation, try to really support the travelers to adapt to the needs, cancellations, adjustments. But now people are thinking about, okay, how to go through this cycle and really prepare ourselves for the recovery, that I am sure the recovery will come at the end because people love traveling and travel will come back at one point. So mainly, all this, the sector the whole sector is being heavily impacted. But I believe that everybody's thinking about, short-term measures to really go through the cycle and long-term measures to really think about how to be better prepared when things are coming back. So there are a number of opportunities that are arising as part of that.
But traveling is, something that we cannot stop doing. So I'm sure that when we have the chance of coming back to take planes and visit hotels, we will.
Yeah, I am completely convinced that this will happen. There will be some evolution, some adjustments to the way people may travel in the future because the demands in terms of sanity, in terms of security, in terms of information is going to increase. However, travel will come back. I am completely convinced about that.
And Gabriel Perdiguero, who is the Chief Customer and Transformation Officer of Iberia, a leading carrier. Gabriel, airplanes renew the air in the cabins every 2 minutes, if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
But still, we tend to see this is being communicated that planes are sort of an unsafe place, in this context of the pandemic. How are you managing the relationship with your customers?
I think we have managed the relationship with our customers in two different phases. During the start of the pandemic, we just put our assets and our people to serve our customers and why not our country. We operate lots of repatriation flights to many countries that we didn't fly even before. We put some of our material to help the hospitals all around Spain. And this is how, in the first phase, we serve our customers, bringing them back home with their families and where they wanted to be. And right now, as we are starting to fly on a small but regular operation, we are putting a focus on the health and safety and communication, because I think the customers, I think, and we believe that we have communicated that the airplane is a safe place, because the way that the filters work in an aircraft minimize almost 100% the infections, and that has been proved. We have to reassure the customers that if they travel, they know that they can travel. They know the actions that they have to make, if they have to make a PCR or they have a quarantine when they arrive. So all that information is very chaotic at this time. So we are putting a big effort to communicate that they can travel, where they can travel, and what they have to do when they travel to any specific destination. And this is where we are putting our biggest efforts, on top of health and safety, extra cleaning, new procedures. So it's giving our customers peace of mind that, okay, you can continue, as Kike said, we have to live with this, but you can live with this in a safety way.
I think the big solution to our problem is these new tests that have arrived. I think that's a solution, and we're implementing it in our hotels.
Well, that's very interesting. So you're making of your hotels sort of safe places, free COVID places.
It's a place where we can, up to where we can go. It's a place where we can give sanitary safety to my customers and to my internal customers, my roomies, people who work in roommate. And I'm very happy with this solution, and I hope many other companies will do the same thing, because I mean, that really gives a safety measure to everybody. When you go to a hotel and you say, listen, everybody in the hotel has been tested and everybody is COVID, is not sick. I mean, that gives you a tranquility, and that helps you to get on a plane, helps you to get a hotel. So I think that is the beginning of our solution, comes with the tests.
So, and Gabriel, when do you expect the recovery of the airline industry?
So, airline industry, to be honest, has been always very cyclical. Probably this is the worst.
But never with an impact such as this one.
No. Obviously not as this is impacting our industry. IATA is estimating that we are going to recover around 2023, 2024. So imagine what a big impact we are going to have. But I think that what is key in order to this recovery is to start living with it, understanding that this will last some more time, that we have to take the safety measures, that we have to align as much as possible the policies, because even in Europe, you don't know what you have to do when going in another country. Maybe this country, even inside Europe, you have to do a PCR or you have to do quarantine. So, homogeneous policies around Europe will be very beneficial in order to a faster recovery. And of course, informing the customers what they have to do, and they are not going to leave them alone at their destination. So if anything eventually happen, they have to rely that, in this case, an airline will bring them back with no doubt. So they have that peace of mind that anything that happens, they will be coming back to their homes in a safe way.
So Luis, Amadeus is not only a huge tech company in the travel industry, but also an innovation lab. Indeed, you support many startups and innovators who are trying to get into the travel industry. Do you think that after this crisis, after this disruption of the travel industry, we're going to see new business models emerge?
Yes, I mean, always when you have these kind of shocks, there are always new opportunities that happen. At the end, this will accelerate trends that we have seen in the past. I mean, the importance of technology is becoming a must more and more. I mean, and investing in new areas such as biometrics or touchless systems or personalization that was already happening before, but the fact that you can personalize your offer and you can adapt to this new world where the traveler is going to be more demanding about information and about clarity in the way they can operate. So there are many areas in which technology can disrupt the way we have been operating and accelerates the trends that we have seen before. And therefore, there will be new opportunities for companies, startups that are looking into these trends. Again, not completely new from what we have seen in the past, but it's an acceleration, and we are living with these new ways of working, despite the fact that travel will be travel at the end, and it will be operated. I mean, people will move from one day to the other and will stay in an hotel and will use the services, but the way they can operate in providing them with an end-to-end service, more flexibility, more personalization, more capabilities to adapt will be needed in the future. And technology, in my view, will play an important role for that.
So thank you very much. It has been such a great pleasure to have the chance of talking to you and discussing about the present and the future of the travel industry, and doing it in this wonderful hotel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, up with the startup competition. So let's announce our 2 category finalists in travel and tourism. This is exciting, guys. Our 2 legends of South Summit 100 are the UK's Be Right Back and Spain's Tripore. Congratulations to both teams. It is almost the last pitch of the day, so let's do this. Be Right Back is the first travel subscription service in the world delivering customers with 3 surprise trips a year to European destinations with flights and hotel included for a fixed monthly subscription. And here to spirit us away to Pitchland is their founder and CEO, Gregory Genny.
Hey everyone, my name is Gregory Genny and I'm the founder and CEO of Be Right Back, the world's first travel subscription service. And let me start off by telling you a little story. If you think about the travel industry, the process of booking travel really hasn't changed in 20 years. And the onus is still on the customer to do all the heavy lifting. But if you think about travel from the consumer's perspective, the only thing that I care about is going on my trip and sharing my experiences. Yet the reality is that it takes 10 hours to research and book a weekend break, usually spread across a number of weeks. And this research process has been carved into multiple billion-dollar industries with brands competing for my attention. And whilst I'm engaging with all these brands, trying to figure out where to go and where to stay, flight prices are rising. And this is preventing me from traveling to the places I want to go to. So that's where BRB comes in. By taking the entire purchase journey out of the equation and shortening it down to one simple question: when do you want to go? And our subscription model is incredibly simple. You pay £50 per month. For that, you get 3 trips per year, flights and hotels included. And each destination and trip is tailored to your personal preferences. And this is how it works. You create your account and set your travel preferences. You choose your plan and you create your trip in less than 60 seconds. And 1 month before travel, we send you a postcard to reveal your destination and send you personal recommendations. So you go with BRB and have an amazing experience. And here's the thing with an amazing trip. You want to do it again straight away. And with BRB, you can do just that in less than 60 seconds, the minute you get home. So we've turned something quite painful into the most convenient and exciting lifestyle brand for travelers, which has real traction. We've already sent customers to over 70 destinations across Europe and are well on track to deliver 40,000 trips over the next 3 years. And this traction has led to press across some of the leading media publications in the world. And press is great, but what really matters to us is that our customers love us, with 96% of them rating their BRB experience as excellent or great. And even during the COVID pandemic, when other OTAs saw their customer ratings plummet, we kept ours high, thanks to our financial protection and the uniqueness of our business model. But we're not just disruptive on the consumer side. On the supply side, we are flipping the entire OTA model on its head. Gone are the days of hotels marketing their rooms through a range of distribution channels with no guarantee on occupancy. BRB fills hotels. We've got guaranteed customers traveling with us. We have complete opacity of travel sourcing, and we can leverage data and machine learning to group customers, which allows us to negotiate better rates by guaranteeing hotels higher occupancy. And over time, we know exactly what to sell and when to sell it. For example, leveraging your Spotify data to upsell your concert tickets because we know your favorite band is going to play there that weekend. And all of this is allowing us to disrupt a £63 billion industry in the UK alone, one that's grown 29% since 2012. And we've assembled an amazing team behind this business. I've personally spent 10 years in the travel sector, and Sam, our head of operation, has delivered over 45,000 trips over the last 5 years. And we're backed by leading entrepreneurs in travel, including Michel Tarid, former president of Hertz International. So we'll be right back, the most exciting lifestyle brand for travelers. Thank you.
Exciting stuff from Gregory Jenny, BRB, new exciting ways of traveling. Does any of our juries have a question for Gregory? We have one on our virtual panel. Oriol Juncosa, come with me to the yellow screen. Your question for BRB.
Hey, Gregory, thanks a lot for the presentation. I was wondering, what's the real pain that you're taking out of the system? Because as a traveler, and I used to live in the UK, and in the UK, you always want to get out of the UK as soon as possible. Okay, there's the transaction pain, but then there's the selection pain. The transaction pain, I don't see it as such a big pain. Probably I see it more as the most painful is the selection pain. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to stay? So how do you assess the pain that you're taking out of the travel deal?
Sure, that's a great question. So there's really two parts to it. One of them is the pain of searching. You know, there's a plethora of OTAs and platforms out there. So as a customer, I'm spending hours and hours and hours trying to figure out where to go and where to stay. So we're saving customers time by not having to trawl through thousands of travel blogs, Instagram accounts, and travel sites. The other pain we're taking away is we also created the first fixed price value proposition. So rather than being hit by flight prices going up just before booking, we can guarantee you travel always at the same price.
Gregory, saving time and also making great time. Do we have another question? I think we have a question from our very own Bárbara Ozores from Google Startups. Just so you know, Gregory, Bárbara is interim head of Google for Startups, Spain and Portugal. She studied at Comillas Pontificia University here in Madrid and before relocating to the US and then to Dublin. Bárbara, your question for Gregory, please.
Hello, Gregory. I love your value proposition, and I have a question as what your plans are in terms of growing, because when you mentioned concert sales, that seems it's a great way to increase your average ticket price. So can you share a little bit more what those are?
Sure, so our aim is really to own the entire supply side, similar to what Netflix has done by developing Netflix originals. We think that we can create very unique value propositions. So the first thing is by layering additional travel services, whether it's experiences, tours, attractions, concerts, whatever that may be, whatever that you may do in destination. And the other thing is expanding the value proposition, A, by covering long-haul destinations, not just European destinations, which is what we're doing today, and then B, by looking at international expansion across other European markets.
Awesome stuff, Gregory. BRB, a huge contestant. So, Barbara, now that I have you here anyway, while I have you here, we know that Google for Startups has been hosting a series of online initiatives during these last months. Like Startup School Restart, aiming to help startups affected by the pandemic get their businesses back on track. And now, what are your plans to keep supporting startups in the upcoming months?
Well, right now we're really focusing on the travel industry. We just launched a program, Growth Academy Travel Tech, focused on bringing innovation to the industry. I think it's long due, and anything that can do to support it will be helpful. And we're also just transferring everything we can do online just to make sure that we can support our founders, which have very different needs to what they had a year ago. So online training, supporting our alumni, our old residents, and travel tech would be our biggest priorities at the moment.
It is all about support. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, now in time-honored tradition, let's give the judges a moment to think about what they have just seen. And we're going to welcome two people who know all about winning races and especially keeping cool. Carlos Sainz is a Spanish rally driver and businessman, nicknamed El Matador. He won the World Rally Championship Drivers' title twice and previously held the WRC record for the most career starts. Carlos is joined by our friend Alejandro Artacho, the co-founder and CEO of Spot a Home. Carlos and Alejandro, our virtual fireside is yours, and we are connecting with Madrid.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Here we have a very special meeting today with Carlos Sainz. I was super excited to be here with you, and it's such an honor for me on behalf of all entrepreneurs and everyone that is listening. Thank you very much, Carlos.
Thank you to you.
For being here. Well, you all know Carlos. Carlos is one of the best drivers in the planet and in history. And he just recently won his last Dakar in January, and it's amazing that he keeps driving and being an inspiration for all of us. So I wanted to discuss a bit about following your passion, because you started studying law. You were here in Madrid, and you know, can you tell us how it was, that transition of following that passion? What was the reaction of your friends, family?
Well, of course, first of all, it is a big decision, no, to stop studying law, like it was in my case, second year. And well, I have it very clear in my mind that what I wanted to do, even if rallying at that time in Spain was not something big, was not something that historically Spanish drivers were in the world at the level of the World Rally Championship, that you can think you can make your life from it. As a professional, but you know, I have very clear since I was very young that I wanted to be a rally driver. Of course, it was difficult. Of course, my parents were not happy when we have that conversation, and myself telling them that I was prepared to stop studying and being professional. It was a time where I already signed a small contract with Renault here in Spain, but difficult decision, but of course I'm happy to that time I took it.
So you mentioned competition, right? So clearly you're a very competitive guy. Do you think that competition, so being competitive is key to succeed in life, racing?
Well, you know, sport and life, it has a lot of common things together, no? And at the end of the day, life is a kind of a competition. You need to fight, as we said before, and if you want to be successful, you need to do a good job. Sometimes winning and making a very good job, the difference is very small, but in the sport, all is about fighting against the others and trying to win. But I think sometimes, you know, there are many people doing sport, there are many people doing business, and you don't need to be absolutely the number one to be successful and be a good professional and be respect from many people. So yeah, winning is very important, but in my case has been very important. I always fight for winning, but you know, at the end, sometimes you win, sometimes you came second, sometimes even you don't finish. But important thing is to, so I always say, to analyze, to try when things are not going well or when things are going well, trying to analyze, trying to get the best picture of how to improve and you know, stand up and fight again and come back and try to win.
I was wondering, what is more important, both in racing and in life? Is competing with your kind of your past self or competing with others when you go? Because the similarity with business, some businesses, they focus a lot on competition, so they build products thinking only on competition, but they don't think too much on you know, what was our product before or on in customers. To yourself, were you always thinking, I need to be better than the Carlos of yesterday, or I need to be better than the other?
Improving it's really important. I think that's why the analyze you have to do, and improving is I think is key of success. You need to try to be a better tomorrow than today, and yeah, also in life, you know, you need to try to keep improving. In sport, in life, I think it's very similar, but at the same time, you need to be happy with the way you do things. You need to be proud of the way you do things.
When you were racing and there were many opinions and external opinions on how to maybe, you know, win a race, did you always like listen fully, or did you follow your gut most?
I like to listen the right people. I like to listen the people I believe can give me good advice. But at the end of the day, you need to do your own way. You need to not what is 100% working for me, it will work for you.
How do you approach adversity and those difficult times? And
well, first of all, I will say you don't need to overreact. You need to analyze. I think when I look backwards and you have a problem or difficult situation, and then you take a quick decision, normally it's an overreaction. So I will say just give you 5 more seconds to think about it carefully, trying to, again, the word analyze is coming, but think a little bit and not take decisions too quick. And then stick to your decision. I think that is very clear. But for that, you don't need to, as I said, you don't need to overreact to take an immediate decision, because normally these quick reactions, quick decisions, most of them are not really good decisions. An obstacle can become a tool to help you to improve yourself, to do better things in the future.
I love your enthusiasm and being optimistic, because I believe also to build businesses, you got to be optimistic.
I like the people which is realistic, but at the same time optimistic. It's important to have a good team together with yourself, people who are loyal, who trust you and who wants to put the same enthusiasm and the same effort that you are putting. But first you need to show them, it's possible to show them you are prepared to take whatever is necessary to achieve it.
How important is the team, as you have seen both in racing and also in business? And
absolutely, you need to have a really good team to be successful, close to you. But it's also part of the leaders to be able to choose the right people, to give the people the confidence to follow, but at the same time to give the people the chance to express themselves and let the room to help you. And I think teams are key for any success in life. And I have been so lucky to have very, very good teams to achieve what I have achieved in terms of the sport, in the business as well. It's so important to have good people around yourself.
So now, as many of us and many of the listeners are building their own teams, what makes a team for you winner? What are the attributes? And if you had to form a new team now, what are the things that you would be looking for?
Well, what we have been discussing in our conversation, I would like to have the people around me which are capable of doing the hard work, believing in themselves, people with discipline, people prepared to do whatever is required to keep moving forward, loyal, trusting people, obviously people prepared.
Being a winner, and in your case like a world-class champion, what are the pressures of being a winner? And what are the costs and sacrifices to
I think you need to be prepared to put everything on the table. When you believe in something, you cannot hide things behind. If you go, you go. And this is how I understand life also in general. And people say, this is becoming an obsession. Yes, it is an obsession. You can, when you want something, when the others are resting, you need to keep working. When the others are thinking in other things, you need to keep focusing. And well, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, I understand that when you want something, it has to become an obsession, and you need to really put everything on the table, on top of the table, to achieve it.
Carlos, I cannot thank you more for all of this. It's been great insights. You are an inspiration, and you have that energy that next to you, you live and you're like, we need to win and we need to be champions as well. So thank you on behalf of everybody.
Thank you, Alejandro, and good job. Well done. I have read I knew what you were doing, what you are doing, and I read a little bit. So keep working the same way, and it's a honor also, and congratulations for your success.
Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank you so much, Carlos and Alejandro. Okay, so the overall winner of the South Summit 100 is coming. Maybe it'll be our next pitcher, the last finalist in the last category of the day. Triporate is an intelligent platform that solves all your business travel needs. Thanks to artificial intelligence, the platform allows more efficient management while saving time and money for both the company and the traveler. And here to deliver the goods is from Spain, the CEO of Triporate, Sergio Orozco.
Hi, I'm Sergio, CEO of Triporate. We are here to simplify business travel. Do you know that more than 90% of the B2B market is managed by traditional agencies? Because service is service. But on the other side, some of companies try to solve the travel problem through self-service platform. This technology could make this service faster and cheaper, but introduce new problem into the game, like wasting time searching on a lot of options and poor propose along the way. The challenge is to offer travel agency service improved with speed and efficiency. When we started 3 years ago, our mission was to create the technology that our travel agents could make us 10 times faster than the traditional travel agencies. We did it. And currently, our artificial intelligence could replicate as travel agents. Every day, more and more trips are managed without human contribution. Let me show you. I'm going to send an email like the one you send to the traditional agencies, but the Triporate answer is completely different. In a few seconds, I have received personalized travel options with flights and hotel, all of them complying with my company policies and my personal preference, and only could click in my perfect option. In a couple of seconds, receive a complete itinerary, all of my tickets attached in my personal calendar. As you can see, resolve a trip is a piece of cake. In this chart, you can see our revenue during the last month. When we include a new layer of technology, the same number of people can manage more and more trips. And our artificial intelligence is learning trip by trip to manage trips without human contribution, like in the demo that I showed you. During February, we are generating over 20,000 euros per day, and we manage 5,000 trips monthly. You can imagine how this story continued. Correct. Our billing dropped down and down until today. I'm sure that COVID will be the end for many travel agencies, but not for Triporate. Bad news. During this month, our operation went down 90%, but good news, decreased 90% our daily problems. And during this time, our team put the focus on creating a new business line. Our technology and our artificial intelligence engine are ready to be used to other travel agencies as a SaaS. Since the beginning, we received around 88% operation margin, improving now to 12% thanks auxiliaries like insurance and other. And also, we are going to launch our first SaaS client in Mexico, looking for a new scalable business model. I'm sure we will share good news in a short time about this. Triporate is managed by a solid group of founders and now has over 20 employees. As I told you at the beginning, our mission is to make companies, travelers, and now travel agencies' lives easier. Thank you very much.
Sergio from Triporate trying to make travelers' lives easier. Do any of our judges want to answer him and make his life a bit less easier, challenging him to answer? We have somebody on our digital platform. Susie Mayer, again, come with me to the yellow screen. Your question for Sergio.
Hi, Sergio, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, fantastic. Look, the one thing I was wondering is the business model. So you mentioned that you have 1 SaaS customers now in Mexico, but what about the other customers? So how are they paying? Is it a transactional volume-based model?
Yeah, the idea is our SaaS, we can choose 2 possibilities, create our own team in the country or to do a partner with a local agency. In this case, it's a local agency. The local agency put in common with us her customer and its knowledge of the country, and we use our technology to grow together. In this case, we are going to receive % of the transaction.
Great, thanks a lot.
And thank you, Susie and Sergio. Do we have any other questions for Sergio Orozco from our physical or virtual panel? We don't seem to have any more questions, so we're going to move on. Okay, now we'll have to give the judges another moment to themselves to make their difficult choices and to marvel at the ingenuity and resourcefulness of these 100 brilliant finalists for the South Summit Startup Competition. But now, let us welcome two leaders from innovation and aerospace to talk about the art of innovation in aerospace. Dr. Wanda Austin is the former president and CEO of the Aerospace Corporation, co-founder of Making Space, Inc., and an in-demand motivational speaker. Paris de Latraz, PhD, is the managing director of Venture Lab at IE Business School, a partner at Moshika, and a board member at the Applied Innovation Institute. Dr. Austin, Paris, the space is yours.
Okay, I'm here with Wanda Austin, and this is a real special treat that we've got. We've got Wanda in California. I'm actually from California, but I'm pretty far away. I'm glad that she is there, and we're here at the South Summit. And Wanda, tell us about your time at the Aerospace Corporation. You were, I understand, the first woman to be the CEO of that corporation. You have an amazing history before that. In terms of the Aerospace Corporation pushing the boundaries of innovation, what can you tell me about that?
Thank you, and I'm delighted to be able to join you today. My time at the Aerospace Corporation was wonderful because one of the things that I realized early in my career was that it was important for me to work someplace where they were always interested in new ideas. And that's exactly what I found.
And I know for a lot of people, when they think of nonprofit, they don't necessarily think of bleeding edge in terms of, so what was the model that made it work so well there?
What made it work is the fact that early in the space business, the US government realized that they needed technical advisors. They needed smart people who could help them to vet the innovative ideas that were being brought forward. But that organization then could not compete for those opportunities and for that work. And so that's how the nonprofit model works, in the sense that you have access to all of the state-of-the-art technological opportunities, and you get to do the research to understand what works and what doesn't. But you don't get to compete for the work to actually monetize and make a product.
And what's the secret to recruiting these best-in-class people and keeping them?
The secret is the work. I would tell you myself, I wouldn't have told my boss at the time, but I was having so much fun that they didn't need to pay me. The reward comes in the people that you're working with, who are all best in class, the fact that you're working on the leading edge of technology, you're doing things that have never been done before, and you have a really compelling mission, which is to understand this new region, this new area called space.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to think, why do people get paid to work at NASA? I'd do it for free, right?
Exactly. It's hard work, but it's wonderfully rewarding.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Wanda. What was the most amazing anecdote of your years at the Aerospace Corporation?
There were so many important things that happened. And probably the one that I refer to most often is that it's better to launch late and be successful than to launch on time and fail. And so the lesson here is you get anxious, particularly on a new idea, and you want to run forward. But the fact of the matter is, what's important is to make sure that you have learned the lessons that you needed to learn at every step of the phase, that you shouldn't skip steps. And so while you may have had a schedule in mind, it's much more important that you make sure that you've completed all the necessary steps before you go forward with your project, rather than rush to, push the go button and then find out, oh gosh, I forgot to do something.
And that is such an important lesson that we teach our students all the time. And the other lesson that we tell them is if you're going to fail, fail fast.
That's right. And get back up.
It's hard. It's hard to be innovative if you don't fail.
Well, you have to have a culture that recognizes the value of failure. If you have a failure and the first thing everyone does is conduct the search for the guilty, that stifles innovation. So you certainly want to have people who are taking reasonable risks, and they're mitigating the risks that they understand, and they build in margin for the risks that they don't. But sometimes you're going to fail, and each failure is a learning opportunity.
We're not trained for this uncertainty. We're trained for a predictable world.
Well, a predictable world that is financially stable, because one of the big uncertainties here is the financial way forward. So it's a challenge for every business, for every university, even for every student, because you thought you knew what your 4 years were going to be and how it was going to lay it out and what you were going to be doing. And suddenly you found yourself at a point where you need to pivot and recognize that you will not have certainty about what the next 6 months or maybe what the next 12 months look like. And so nonetheless, you have to make decisions. So I think this is a key point of leadership as well, which is even when you have uncertainty, you still have to make decisions.
The next thing I want to talk about, we're at a time today where our country is in mourning because of the death of RBG and the incredible life that she had, and everything she did for rights, for equal rights, and especially for women. Yours is an incredible, or must be an incredible, personal journey. Is there anything you'd like to share with us in terms of your personal journey?
I would tell you that my journey was not a straight line. It was more of a random walk where I would try things, figure out what I learned from it, figure out what I'd like from it, and try to figure out, what's the next thing I can do that continues on in that direction. It was certainly, as an African-American girl growing up in the 60s, not an environment where people were running up to me saying, what you should plan to be is to be the CEO of a research and development corporation. But nonetheless, I had the opportunity for education, and my parents made sure that I took advantage of that. And that opened doors. I didn't know which doors I really wanted to go through, but it made sure that there were doors available for me to walk through. And I think, for me, that's the key lesson that I try to give back today, which is make sure that we're educating our young people and giving them access to science, technology, engineering, and math, because that's better for everyone.
You took advantage, or you looked at every opportunity as it came. A lot of students ask me things like, how much can you plan your professional life? And I think planning is difficult, and it reminds me of there's a word in Hawaiian that's holo holo, and it means that the destination is not so important. It's the journey.
Yes. Enjoy the journey. So many times people are racing to get to the next point. They forget to enjoy where they are right at that particular time. What I tell young people when I talk to them about their career is, that they're fortunate that they live at a time when they're likely to work until they're 70 or 75. So if you get started at 20, that gives you a 55-year span in which you can do several different things very well. So don't feel panicked about making the right decision forever. Make the right decision for now, and then you reevaluate and you make the next decision to decide what happens next and where you go. But there is a sense of urgency of somehow I need to know, how this all ends when I'm 20. And I think you miss the opportunity to just experience a little bit.
You've been closer to space as an industry than most people will ever dream of. What do you think is the future of space? And as, entrepreneurs, as, people out there trying to do a startup or students, what should our relationship be with space? Because you hear a lot about space, And most people are talking about space tourism. But what should we really be thinking about with respect to space? Is it the last frontier?
I think it's not the last frontier because, you know, oceans is another area that there's still plenty to be explored, I think. But I think it appeals to the explorer in each of us, that there are so many unknowns, that we don't fully understand what are the things that we could do from space easily that we struggle to do here on Earth because of the limitations of gravity. I'm an advocate for space tourism. In full disclosure, I'm on the board for Virgin Galactic, and I think that the fact that, you know, the average person will get the opportunity to experience space is a wonderful thing. But I also realize that space offers an opportunity for us to really understand our own planet and to understand what's happening in our solar system so that we can make better decisions.
Because technology is one of those things that sometimes intimidates people in terms of how far they think they can go. Now, you've been running a company in the past that has been pushing the boundaries, as we said, of technology. What advice do you give an entrepreneur in the technology business?
The advice that I would offer is to make sure that you have a simple story that you can communicate. We always talk about the elevator pitch. So it's got to be short, it's got to be crisp, but it has to get to the so what. So what has changed because of your invention? What's going to be better? What's going to be different? Why is this going to be exciting? And if you can tell that story in a relatively short period of time in a compelling way, people will be interested and they will want to hear more and they'll invest the time to understand what you're doing.
Well, Wanda, it's been a real pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. And I hope that I get a chance someday to you know, visit Virgin Galactica or one of these other cool places because, you know, space makes me dream. And I think we all need to dream once in a while.
I think dreams are important. When we stop dreaming, you know, we're in trouble. But thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I wish you well. I wish everyone good health and stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Austin and Paris. There you have it, some great inspiration there, which I hope will propel you to greatness. Speaking of which, let's meet the category winner of travel and tourism. And to bequeath our final gorgeous bonsai to the winner is our good friend, Barbara Ozores, the interim head of Google for Startups. Barbara, we just spoke. It's great to have you here in the center of La Nave. How are you?
Very good. It's been great to be here. Great to lead the travel tech track. It's been super tight, so I have to tell you, it's been very hard. As you can see, it's taken us a little bit of time. And I have to congratulate Gregory from Be Right Back. Congratulations.
Gregory from Be Right Back, congratulations. You made it to the final. Thank you so much. Juries, both physical and virtual, you have a tough job ahead of you. These are all great startups that have gone on to the final. Best of luck. I know this last one was a tight one, but I think the rest for the final are going to be even tighter. So thank you here and thank you at home. Now, if I were a betting man, and I might be inclined to put a little wager on the outcome of our grand finale. But instead, let's meet someone who really is betting on innovation and the startup ecosystem. We are very honored to welcome back a very good friend of South Summit, the Vice President and Minister for the Economic Affairs, Nadia Calviño. Connecting with Madrid, Nadia.
How are you? Thanks. Hello, Vice President. How are you? It's an honor to be here with you at South Summit. Vice President, how important do you think is innovation and digital transformation for the future of the Spanish economy?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Maria. And indeed, if there's one thing we have learned
during these extraordinary times that we are living with the pandemic is that the digitalization process is not only unstoppable, but very urgent. We have seen how important it is to be able to work from home, to see our loved ones on the screen, to buy online, to be educated and go to school online. And this shows that this process opens incredible opportunities that we have to grab and to profit from in order to increase productivity and potential growth in Spain and the world at large.
It's fantastic. In Spain, we are lucky to have strong regional entrepreneurial hubs. Madrid and Barcelona are recognized as leaders at the European level. How can we keep these hubs at the top? How can we make them stronger in the future?
Indeed, Spain has Madrid and Barcelona, which are very important hubs, but also there's a lot of things, there are many things happening in other parts of the country, like Malaga, Valencia, La Coruña, Bilbao, there are many, Zaragoza. You know, the list of cities which are attracting talent and investment is growing by the day. And I think that this vibrant ecosystem is going to be a key element for success going forward. We will indeed support this process. We accompany it with a good business environment, with business support and investment support coming from the public sector, and also attracting talent, which is obviously easier in a place such as Spain, which is so lovely for living, than in other parts of the world. We need to continue to work on these areas in order to be at the top also going forward.
How agree I am with you. Remote working, Vice President, means Spain can attract the best talent from all over the world and keep our talent. Which specific measure do you have in mind to realize this opportunity?
Indeed, Maria, as I was saying a moment ago, I think that Spain has many attractives, many strengths, which make it an ideal place for businesses to be established and also for workers to telework from Spain. We want to push the strengths of Spain as an audiovisual hub in Europe. This is an area which has been growing enormously during the last years. A number of worldwide leaders are establishing their European bases in Spain, and we want to support this process. And we also want to continue to attract talent, facilitating visas, facilitating the establishment not only of investors but also of actual workers in the area of the digital world. I mean, startups are obviously finding that Spain is a very attractive site for them to invest and to set themselves, and we want to support and accompany this process going forward.
And just to finish, Vice President, investment levels in startups in Spain are below the European average. How do you plan to support the creation and development of startups in Spain?
Indeed, in order for companies to be created and also to grow, you need three things: a favorable legal environment, funding, and talent. We want to work on the three lines going forward. So we're working on a specific startup law, which will take care of the specificities of these kind of companies. We have established a number of instruments to support the creation of startups. We want now to work on a venture capital fund, raising public and private investment around 1 billion in order to support the scaling up of startups. And we also want to support the attraction and retention of talent, an issue we were just discussing a moment ago. I think it's very important to work on these three streams if we want to continue the success and to allow companies not only to be established but also to grow. Companies funded by men, but also by women. We need to pay a very special attention to attracting female talent, which is proving to be absolutely key for success going forward and is one of the top priorities for the Spanish government.
Thank you very much, Vice President. Here you have South Summit with you to work hand by hand in all that you are doing. So thank you very much, and Will, everything is yours.
And with that, it is actually time right now to go to our grand finale. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. After thousands of startups became our 18 finalists, and only 9 have made it through to the final round for the grand prize. And while the judges are thinking, let us connect with our friend Katie Coleman and take one last trip. Hello, Katie. Welcome to South Summit. I know you have traveled to a few places, but I'm curious, what is your favorite trip?
Well, my favorite trip started off a little bit rough, really. I mean, the ride to the place was just like, blah, 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 you know, this really rough ride. And then we get there, and, you know, it turns out that there are going to be 6 of us. I mean, I didn't get to pick who else was going to be there on the team for the project. And once we all were there, they shut the door and locked it, and we couldn't leave. And it turns out that, you know, we're recycling, you know, we brought food, thank goodness. We're recycling our air, recycling our water. You know what that means, right? Well, there we were with a view to die for of our planet, because we were living on the International Space Station.
My call, initiating RPM, 3, 2, 1, mark.
And that's really what I'd love to share a little bit about with you today as we wrap up this amazing conference that I think is just so important, because it's about how to make ideas really happen. And I think that entrepreneurs are very special people. I think they have ideas inside of them, and that means that their ideas as individuals are so important. But the other part of that is the team. It's the network. It's the other people that you bring in, you know, at the right time, whenever, maybe they're there all the time, to help you actually really make your idea work. And it's very much like a space crew. And the thing I think that we have in common together is the mission, is that we have something that we know inside we can help accomplish. And when you focus on that, whether it's because you're in a space station or actually locked down here during a pandemic, it brings out the best in all of us, I think. It makes us realize that our ideas are imperative to solving a problem, and not only that, but other people's ideas are imperative as well. And so for all of us, a conference like this where it brings people together, whether it's on a screen, you know, over a phone, or in person in a conference, there are these times that we sort of connect together, and I think the key is to really do the work to make those connections, to find out what people bring to the table and what you can help with them with. And that means being brave about what you bring, brave about your ideas, and open to others. And that's really what we have to do as a space crew. It's a little more obvious for us when we're up there and we're from all over the world as astronauts. Many from Europe, from all over the globe, from the US, from Canada, from Japan, from Russia, and experiments from all over the globe. So we're on a global mission together, and we don't get to choose each other as partners, and yet figuring out, what do I do that you could use? What do you do that I could use? That's what it's all about. And that's what leads to mission success. And it'll work that way in your world as well. When you're looking at us and we are on a launch pad, several of us in a space capsule on our way to space, it may look like there's just a few people in that capsule, but actually we launch with hundreds of people aboard, because nobody gets to leave this planet and go and accomplish that mission without the help and the insight and the perspective of other people. And I hope it's the same for you, and that South Summit has been a place for you to find and connect to each other, and now you are ready to launch. Good luck.
Station and Houston, Discovery is initiating final approach.
Welcome to South Summit 2020, coming to you from La Nave here in Madrid.
Oh, it's Silicon Valley.
South Summit this year is more global than ever, and everyone is connected. We've got special guests joining us from all over the world.
You have to reinvent yourself out of necessity.
Education isn't everything, but it's almost everything.
Today, we are a step ahead to face the new reality.
inspirational, Katie, and it is all about bringing the world together, and South Summit is all about that. And she's absolutely right when she talks about the team. It's not just us here in front of the cameras, it's the whole team that's behind the cameras, and that's why we have liftoff. So after thousands of pitches, 100 finalists, 18 category finalists, 9 category winners, and 3 days of pitches and hard work from our judges, the winner of the South Summit 100 will shortly be announced. This means that our very special 8th edition of South Summit is coming to a close, which the hard-working production team have delivered in this awesome new TV format. Stay safe, stay well. This is not a goodbye from us. It is a see you next year. Thank you so much, South Summit 2020. Now, Maria, the floor is yours to announce the final winner.
Thank you very much. You see where we are? Everybody see where we are? We are here at Teatro Real, our Teatro Real, and we are here at Plaza Oriente. And just behind we have the Royal Palace, nuestro Palacio Real. Well, here we are after 3 incredible days. It has been, this South Summit 2020 has been an amazing experience. And, well, you know all the times we live. Complicated, but we decided that we had to move, we had to react. We didn't have to freeze, we have to react. And so we decided to reinvent ourselves but we had a dream. We didn't want to do whatever, just to go to a digital event. We really wanted to reinvent and dream something big, something absolutely different, and something that multiply opportunities for everybody. And that's what we have done. We have done our dream reality, but we didn't do it. We all did it, the whole ecosystem, our great partners, our investors, our startups, the whole ecosystem with the institutions. You know, I think it's very important to prove, first of all, ourselves, and besides the whole world, that if we want, we can do the things differently. We can do that really things can be multiplying opportunities of business. But now, let us tell you one thing. We have missed you a lot. I think that physical encounters where we all meet together, when we identify those opportunities and connect and change experiences is absolutely essential. So what we have proved is that what we need to do is just something using all the channels to get our goal. And that's what is going to be our South Summit from here on. So let's us introduce our friends. Now we go in and we are going to, because we have to thank all our partners, our great partners. Without you partners, we couldn't have done anything. And we are building this South Summit from the very beginning together with investors, together with our Ayuntamiento, the Ayuntamiento de Madrid, with our mayor. Without you, Mayor, it would be impossible to do it. But here is Juanjo Güemes. Juanjo, we started this since the very beginning with that big crisis we had before in 2012. It was incredible. There we were with Ignacio Garralda, the president of Mutua, also building that. But now we are not going to speak anymore. We are going, first of all, thank you very much. He is our great director. He's going to win an Oscar, and but we want him always with us too. I'm going to put my mask. We are in times that we have to protect ourselves and everybody, and we are going to start with something very important. Who are the winners? So first of all, we are going to start with 3 special prizes to announce: the best team, the most innovative startup, and the most scalable one. And for that, I have here with me my dear partners, BBVA, Ferrovial, Mutua Madrileña, Endesa, Google for Startups, Guaira, and Sabadell. So we start with the first one. It's my pleasure to announce the winner of the best team. And the winner of this team is Kudo. So congrats, Kudo. Congrats. Here we are. Here is Kudo. Kudo, congrats. And thank you to you. You are really great. So we are going, all of us, to give you your prize. And now, it's my pleasure to announce to all of you the winner for the most innovative startup. And the most innovative startup is Medicsen. So congrats, Medicsen. Congrats. Hello, Medicsen. Here we are, all the winners, all the partners with you. Thank you. You are great. And the winner for the most scalable startup. I think something is happening. Or maybe I'm a little bit late. And the most scalable startup is Singular Cover. So congrats to Singular Cover. Congrats. You've done great. So you can sit. Now you can sit. Sit. Thank you. And Juanjo, could you come with me, please? Juanjo is our partner in CRAM. As I told you, since the very beginning, here we are with iUniversity, working together, as you do always in the iUniversity. So, Juanjo, it's the time for us to announce something really very important for us, for this big family of South Summit, and it's Create Startup Competition, Kids Startup Competition. And you can see it here. And the winner for the startup competition is...
Do you have the envelope with the name? Just in case, yes, please. And the winner for the startup competition, Kids Startup Competition is
Tubificador from
Bien.
Centro González Fernando de Córdoba.
Nicolás y Adam.
Tubificador.
Nicolás, Adam, congrats. Nicolás, Adam, can you tell us something? What is the prize for you?
Hope to see you next year. Bye bye.
Nicolás.
Nico and team.
Nicolás, Adam, congrats.
Congratulations.
You go with the prize. And thank you. Nicolás, Adam, can you tell us something? What is the prize for you? And now, to present the prize for our overall winner of South Summit 2020, please allow me to invite to the stage the Mayor of Madrid, José Luis Martínez Almeida. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you very, very much. And our super winner is Summer Next Gen Data Center. No. Yeah, excuse me. Summer Next Year Data Center is from the vertical of energy and sustainability, and congrats to you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Congrats.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
You are the mayor. Please allow me to invite to the stage.
It's been an honor, and actually, sorry I didn't prepare a good pitch like my previous competitors, the kids.
Thank you very, very much.
And thank you very much, because it's actually the second time I apply for the summit, and eventually, if you work hard, you actually can make it, and that's the proof. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Excuse
me. Thank you, Mayor. The stage is yours. Vertical.
Me quedo yo. Las palabras.
No, estoy aquí perfecto. Sí, es un horror. Así es.
President of the Spanish Startup South Summit, María Benjumea, Madrid City Councilors, Miguel Ángel, representatives of South Summit partners, winners of this edition, all participants. Dear friends who follow us from Teatro Rural and through the challenge enabled. It's an honor for me to be here for the second year running at the closing of this great global platform that is South Summit, Madrid, an enterprising and innovative city, which is committed to talent and the generation of opportunities, feels very proud to host this great meeting once again. And we do it, as on previous occasions, all the well-supporting talent on La Nave, collaborative space, our reference in innovation. Please let me congratulate you all, the South Summit team, for this especially innovative new edition, Maria. You have taken advantage of your vocation to evolve. New formal, virtual, and omni-channel, with both your possibilities of success, helping to strengthen the innovative ecosystem and business opportunities. This edition, with 30,000 attendees from 120 countries and 44% of international participation profit. Congratulations for all participants, but in particular to the prize winners. To Kudo, to Medicsen, to Singular Cover, to Gonzalo Fernández de Córdoba Education Center, and the winner of a startup competition in his second attempt, Summer Next Gen Data Centers. Behind these awards, there is a lot of Spanish talent, and more specifically, Madrid talent, and we are proud about it. The winners of the kids competition and the most disruptive and innovative startup both come from the capital, both come from Madrid. The most recent data on the entrepreneurship map in Spain invites optimism. More and more entrepreneurs are launching startups every year, and 6 out of 10 have launched at least 2 startups. In addition, the more experience, the greater the possibility of success, and the greater the potential to scale up. Spain already accounts for 15% of scale-ups and is positioned at the level of other leading ecosystems. We can see a progressive maturity of the Spanish innovative ecosystem, which is great news. In a world under constant transformation, driven by digital innovation is essential. Not only for the economy and for the business, but also for cities like Madrid, placing at the core of all strategies on the short and long term. Innovation is no longer an option. Rather, it's a basic necessity in the big challenges of our time, the pandemic among them. And Madrid has a clear commitment to becoming the best innovation ecosystem in Spain and one of the best in Europe. Madrid boasts the best technological infrastructure, incentives to attract talent, and a deep-seated process of internal and external digital transformation of the city. The pandemic has shown us that processes can be suddenly accelerated and that we have to be prepared, as we have learned with teleworking, for example. Before coronavirus, we began the transition to a green, digital, and inclusive economy. Today, that path becomes the main lever to get out of this crisis, together, faster, and stronger. And for this challenge, we need you both. Entrepreneurs, for standing up against the conventional wisdom, with so many times proved wrong. Investors, for your courageous contribution to the progress of society. Today, nothing is possible without clear commitment to dialogue and collaboration, both public and private sectors. Everything is possible if we work all together. And let me finish in Spanish. We are in Madrid, estamos en Madrid, en la capital de España, el segundo idioma más hablado en el mundo, pero tenemos una capacidad y una vocación global que nos lleva a que si hace 2 días le decía a María que está muy contento y feliz como alcalde de Madrid de haber podido celebrar el South Summit aún en estas circunstancias, ahora puedo decir como alcalde de Madrid que estoy muy orgulloso de haberle demostrado al mundo que una ciudad como Madrid no se arruga ni en la peor de las circunstancias, ni en la más adversa de las situaciones que nos ha tocado vivir, que aún así seguimos manteniendo el pulso y que aún así seguimos celebrando una competición internacional como el South Summit, que aún así seguimos dando la imagen al mundo de ser una ciudad que sabe que el futuro pasa necesariamente por la innovación, por el conocimiento, por el emprendimiento y sobre todo por la unión tanto de las instituciones como del sector privado. Y por eso también quiero volver a agradecer y reiterar especialmente a todas las empresas que son y forman parte del partenariado de South Summit por el apoyo constante que desde el año 2012, el peor año de la crisis, por cierto, de la anterior crisis, supieron dar y la visión que tuvieron para transformar este evento en uno de los grandes iconos a nivel global de Madrid. Y esto nos marca el camino para salir adelante de esta situación. Así que, hope to see you in the next edition of South Summit. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, alcalde. Muchas gracias por tus palabras. Y hemos llegado al final del prime time de este tercer día. Hemos llegado al final de este prime time, but this is not the end of South Summit. This is the beginning of this new era, because what we have seen is that present physical events are absolutely key. We need to be in contact. We need to be together. But digital events, digital platform, that is what really South Summit is, a global platform to connect the whole ecosystem all around the world, can be just beginning now and forever. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you to all the team that really has worked very hard and all the ecosystem that we have built together. And please, stand here, because now we are finished this third day of South Summit 2020, but we are going to start changing among all of us the learnings that we had with this first South Summit TV. Thank you very much.
Welcome to South Summit 2020, coming to you from La Nave here in Madrid.
Hello, South Summit.
Welcome, guys. How is Silicon Valley?
So we're going to kick off the South Summit 100 startup competition. Each startup has 3 minutes to pitch to our amazing jury.
Hi, South Summit. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hi, my name is Elena.
I'm going to tell you about Suscript. We've got judges in La Nave, we've got judges joining us on our video wall over here, and we've got special guests joining us from all over the world.
It's not about playing video games, it's about creating entertainment.
My favorite sentence is education isn't everything, but it's almost everything.
When you are against the wall, when the circumstances and the situation put you against the wall, you have to reinvent yourself out of necessity.
Now, we're here in Madrid on this 8th year of South Summit, but it's been a pretty interesting year, so we're doing it differently.
Today, we are a step ahead to face the new reality.
We would love to try to just make the world a better place and a world that's more equal.
What will start a company is a long journey.
For joining us in this most connected South Summit that we've ever had.
South Summit has been a place for you to find and connect to each other.
We've pivoted and made this into an interactive TV experience, and so it's very exciting, but we're not just here in Madrid. South Summit this year is more global than ever, and everyone is connected.
And now, you are ready to launch.
Los sonidos para acá. Vente para acá. Genial. Esto no es protocolario, ponte aquí. Nada, ya está. Nada, ahí. Vale, super winners. Ahora tenemos que hacer a los super winners, ¿eh? Lo dejamos.
I know you want me. Every day not only when you're lonely. Yeah, you see you think you know me, but you don't even know nothing about me. Yeah, you see my thick thighs, lost when you look into my brown eyes. See my little ways can make you switch sides. You never know the devil in a disguise, so why don't you stand up, baby? Tell me, do you want me on top? So let me show you, I don't need to back it up. Don't wanna hold you, mold you, slow, just split you in half with my heart. I just wanna love on you, trust in you, honor you, please do the same on your part.
Bueno, la verdad es que teníamos un especial interés en poder compartir con todos vosotros las experiencias que hemos vivido durante estos 3 días y fundamentalmente los aprendizajes que nos ha reportado todo el desarrollo de este nuevo y absolutamente reinventado y revolucionario South Summit. Y creemos que siempre a todos nos viene fenomenal. Pero quisiera antes algo que desde el principio de los tiempos, desde el año 2012, en donde ya veíamos que la crisis económica era muy gorda, era gordísima, estaba dañando muchísimo a muchas personas, familias y organizaciones, pero la crisis todos sabíamos que iba a pasar, pero el cambio que se nos avecinaba era un cambio que ya no tenía vuelta atrás, un cambio, una transformación bestial y que además este cambio venía, y como hemos ido viendo, a una velocidad absolutamente vertiginosa. Por eso nos era especialmente importante poder empezar o tener una conversación con el alcalde de Madrid, que realmente es una ciudad que se caracteriza por la innovación y que además concentra a un porcentaje muy significativo de las grandes corporaciones españolas, con Ignacio Garralda, que desde el principio de los tiempos, como comentaba, apostó claramente por South Summit, en ese momento Spain Startup, pero sobre todo por la innovación abierta a través de las startups, porque se daba cuenta de que era la salida, y lo mismo nos pasó con Ferrovial. Pero igual nos pasó con Endesa y con Sabadell y con las otras organizaciones, que son muchas, la parte de los partners principales también con Guaira, con Google for Startups y con, y como he dicho también con el Sabadell. Me gustaría, antes de que empezáramos con esta conversación, poder, que es parte además de la conversación, poderle preguntar a Pepe Casas, que además te agradecería que pudieras acercarte aquí, te damos un micrófono, que seguro que tenemos un micrófono ahí, porque os habéis dado cuenta que la startup ganadora es una startup de energía. Y cuando también al principio de los tiempos, recordemos que cuando hablábamos de startups, ¿en qué pensábamos? Hablábamos de proyectos digitales y siempre estábamos convencidos de que los proyectos digitales son muy importantes, pero son una parte, y que innovación se necesita en todos los sectores y en todas las industrias. Con lo cual, me gustaría, Pepe, que nos contestaras, esta startup que ha ganado de energía, ¿qué os aporta? ¿Qué es lo que realmente desde Endesa vosotros estáis, ¿por qué estáis aquí? Y fundamentalmente, ¿por qué apostáis por todo este ecosistema?
Que en un año como este, clave para el incremento de la conciencia, del incremento de ambición en todo lo que es el proceso de descarbonización y de electrificación de la sociedad, que el principal premio de esta sesión del South Summit se lo ha llevado una empresa basada en eficiencia energética, tiene mucho que decir. Para nosotros significa mucho que la innovación esté enfocada en todo el proceso de descarbonización, de electrificación y de eficiencia energética. La verdad es que, como todos los años, yo creo que este año más, que el premio se haya basado en energía para nosotros ha sido un éxito y ratifica la necesidad de que estemos en este tipo de actos apoyando la innovación, apoyando el emprendimiento y apoyando todas estas startups y a toda esta gente joven pensando, innovando y bueno, pues apoyando todo eso que necesitamos para llegar a un 2050 libre de emisiones y donde la electricidad sea el vector principal de la energía. En esto agradeceros y bueno, creo que es un ejemplo de por dónde y lo bien que lo está haciendo el South Summit. Muchas gracias, María.
Muchas gracias a ti, Pepe. Muchas gracias, Pepe. Alcalde, ¿cómo es de importante? Yo sé, porque lo hemos hablado 1000 veces, la importancia que para Madrid tiene la innovación, la apuesta por la innovación, la apuesta por la transformación. ¿Qué nos puedes decir?
Bueno, es fundamental, ¿no? Parece una obviedad decirlo y repetirlo por parte de los que tenemos responsabilidades institucionales, pero obvio que esto que era una cuestión determinante para el futuro de las grandes ciudades en un entorno global en el que cada vez vamos a jugar un papel más relevante, aun a pesar de que la pandemia se ha cebado especialmente con las grandes ciudades, pero lo cierto es que lo que era importante ahora se ha transformado en absolutamente urgente y que, por tanto, hay dos notas que son determinantes para una ciudad en un entorno global, tanto la sostenibilidad como la transformación digital, y las dos parten necesariamente del mismo concepto de potenciar la innovación o el emprendimiento a través de medidas concretas, a través de también seguir a la sociedad en este sentido. La política tiene que seguir a la sociedad en este sentido y esa es la intención que tenemos en el Ayuntamiento. Tenemos proyectos además que yo creo que son muy importantes, con una de la Concejalía de Economía y una Concejalía Delegada de Emprendimiento e Innovación, trabajando en clústeres de inteligencia artificial, por ejemplo, que lo que pretenden es demostrar la voluntad política, junto con la voluntad de la sociedad, de avanzar en ese camino, la innovación y el emprendimiento como elemento determinante para avanzar en la sostenibilidad y en la transformación digital como notas distintivas de cualquier gran ciudad en el entorno global del siglo XXI.
Muchas gracias, alcalde. Ignacio Madridejos es el CEO de Ferrovial. Ferrovial, como todos sabemos, igual que Endesa, son empresas hipertradicionales, empresas de sectores muy tradicionales con muchos años y que realmente están apostando por todo este mundo de la innovación abierta. Una empresa de infraestructuras, de construcción, aunque ahora mismo, lógicamente, está muy diversificada. ¿Qué ofrece la innovación abierta? ¿Qué realmente aportan las startups?
Bueno, nosotros, como bien dices, ¿no? Somos una compañía de desarrollo y gestión de infraestructura sostenible, eficiente e innovadora, y para nosotros la innovación es uno de nuestros pilares estratégicos, uno de los 4 que hemos definido en la compañía, la manera que nos hará subsistir y ser una compañía ganadora en el futuro. Nosotros definimos innovación como incremental en las unidades de negocio y creo que se ha hecho muy buen trabajo estos días hablando de seguridad y salud, hablando de sostenibilidad, innovación en estos temas, innovación en Construtec también, en todo lo que es el proceso de construcción, pero también innovación disruptiva, ¿no? Que es lo que hacemos a nivel corporativo, ¿no? Y creo que ha habido muy buenos temas hablando sobre la movilidad, la infraestructura inteligente, cómo añades infraestructura a la tecnología, y creo que en eso se pueden aportar soluciones muy innovadoras, ¿no? Como las que se han visto durante estos días, ¿no? En el South Summit, ¿no? Nosotros esa es la parte en la que la compañía de innovación debe aportar nuevas oportunidades de negocio, generación de valor, y como tal trabajamos dentro de un ecosistema, ¿no? Ecosistema en el que trabajamos con entidades públicas, con el Ayuntamiento de Madrid, soluciones para la MT, autobuses en demanda. Trabajamos con otras compañías, con la Mutua, por ejemplo, estamos desarrollando algunos proyectos en conjunto, pero también con entidades académicas y con startups y emprendedores. El año pasado solamente tuvimos 32 iniciativas con startups en la compañía, algunas dentro incluso trabajando con nosotros, pero a su vez muy abiertos a toda esta innovación, utilizarla cuanto antes para ser más competitivos como compañía.
Muchas gracias, Ignacio. Ignacio, son los dos Ignacios, pero uno Madridejos, Ignacio Garralda, presidente de Mutua Madrileña. La verdad es que enhorabuena porque el trabajo de Mutua y el desarrollo de la compañía durante estos años que tú estás de presidente es alucinante. Pero es que la transformación de la compañía a mí me parece increíble. Ignacio, cuéntame. Desde aquella conversación que tuvimos tú y yo en el año 2012, ese desayuno tan bueno que me diste, así como por febrero, ahora, ¿qué ha sido la transformación, esa apuesta? Por eso que sé, no te puedo preguntar si crees, porque sé que crees absolutamente en cuanto a la innovación abierta y las startups y demás.
La verdad es que efectivamente ya ha pasado mucho tiempo. Yo todavía me acuerdo de aquel desayuno. Me acuerdo que estábamos en plena crisis y parecía un poco, a lo mejor, prematuro hablar de venture capital y de innovación, pero en la Mutua yo creo que desde el principio nos hemos dado cuenta que la innovación tenía dos vertientes, una interna, digamos, de apostar por la propia transformación de la compañía y por eso empezamos a hacer todas las inversiones en Antai y después la que participada por Antai, que es la que ha salido Singular Cover, que ha salido premiada en estos premios, que teníamos que unir la innovación interna con la innovación externa y que la Insurtech, lejos de ser una competencia, era un aliado de primera magnitud. Y siempre hemos considerado a todas las firmas de Insurtech como unas aliadas que cuanto más conociésemos de ellas y más pudiésemos apropiarnos, entre comillas, de su know-how, íbamos a ir por el buen camino los dos. Y eso lo hicimos desde el principio y seguimos empeñados en hacer el mix entre innovación interna e innovación externa, que tiene largo recorrido, pero eso por la parte de transformación. Pero desde el punto de vista también del venture capital, las compañías aseguradoras tenemos unos volúmenes bastante grandes de fondos para invertir. En el 2012, cuando hablábamos nosotros, hasta cierto punto podíamos invertir en otras cosas porque había la deuda pública española estaba al 7%, los depósitos de todos los bancos nos daban el 7%, y hasta cierto punto, pues dice, ¿para qué te vas a meter en inversiones alternativas que nunca sabes cuál es la rentabilidad? Lo hicimos y nos ha ido francamente bien, pero si eso con el 7% podía tener sus opiniones, hoy en día con el mundo a tipos de interés al 0% y con el 0% a 5 años vista, las inversiones alternativas y de venture capital son obligadas para que a todas las instituciones que tengamos volúmenes de inversión para invertir.
Fantástico. A mí me gustaría preguntar a dos compañías que están ahora aquí presentes, como es Sabadell y el BBVA, porque cuando hemos analizado, y ahora vamos a compartir los datos de las personas que han participado dentro de South Summit y demás, y me impresiona enormemente el porcentaje de startups que se presentan, que están vinculadas con el sector fintech y cada vez más abundante insurtech. Y por otra parte, ya de una manera exponencial, son las personas que asisten y que pertenecen al gran sector de fintech, banking, fintech, etcétera, etcétera. Eduardo, ¿cómo estás viendo esta transformación? Es decir, ¿cómo os va vuestro negocio dentro de todo este contexto? ¿Cómo estás viendo? ¿Cómo estáis participando desde Sabadell en esta transformación y cómo estáis trabajando con las startups? Porque yo creo que es tan importante que todos nos convenzamos la importancia de las corporaciones para trabajar en esa cultura del win-win, las startups y las corporaciones.
Y tú lo sabes porque lo compartimos contigo desde este mismo año, teníamos claro que teníamos que apostar por el mundo de las startups. Como Banco Sabadell siempre hemos sido un banco que se nos ha reconocido por dar un buen servicio en el mundo de empresas. Y para nosotros era evidente que si queríamos apostar por el mundo de las empresas, teníamos que apostar por el mundo de las startups. Por tanto, creamos una dirección de startups dentro del mundo de las empresas y desde el principio no solamente pensamos en ellas para darles servicios típicamente bancarios, sino para aprender de ellos, como de la gente con talento, la gente joven, la gente innovadora, las famosas fintech. Y también creamos un programa que cada año invertimos en 10 de estas startups, las apoyamos, Seed Capital, y la verdad es que para nosotros ha sido muy provechoso porque hemos aprendido mucho con ellos y la verdad es que estamos encantados de haber iniciado este programa hace ya 8 años y que cada vez potenciamos más. Por tanto, desde luego para nosotros es algo estratégico y algo que nos ha dado mucha satisfacción.
Muchas gracias, Eduardo. Y quiero haceros una pregunta. Estamos en un mundo que yo creo que cada vez las compañías estáis más diversificadas. ¿Cómo las startups, qué papel están jugando las startups en esta diversificación? Es decir, ¿esta diversificación es de alguna manera, está dentro de lo que es vuestra estrategia, dentro o desarrollada o iniciado este desarrollo en vuestra propia innovación, o claramente estáis viendo que en esta diversificación las startups, la innovación que os está aportando, está ayudando, y en eso también me gustaría al final oír al alcalde cómo esto afecta a la ciudad de Madrid? Es decir, aquí vamos todos a la diversificación porque claramente tenemos que ampliar, aunque luego hay momentos en los que también nos centramos más en nuestro core business. ¿Cómo lo ves, Ignacio?
Nosotros también como definición de innovación lo que queremos es que el 100% de lo que hacemos tenga un sponsor. Un sponsor y un retorno. Queremos generar valor con innovación y todas las iniciativas que tenemos, ¿no? Y buscamos que tenga un sponsor para que esté alineado a nuestro core. O sea, nosotros no queremos invertir en cosas que sean muy lejanas o que no nos aporten un valor diferencial, ¿no? Queremos cosas que en Construtec, por ejemplo, es un mundo que se está desarrollando y habiendo un montón de iniciativas sobre construcción off-site, sobre todo lo que es la digitalización del sistema de construcción, y en eso trabajamos con startups. Algunas utilizamos sus productos, otras las potenciamos, ¿no? Movilidad. El mundo de la movilidad incluye muchos jugadores que tienen que participar, no solamente nosotros. Nosotros participamos desde el punto de vista de la infraestructura y la tecnología, ¿no? pero lo que queremos hacer es cosas que estén cercanas a nuestro negocio core, a lo que es nuestra visión, que es el desarrollo y operación de infraestructura. Sobre esa infraestructura, que es nuestra base, queremos poner tecnología y queremos crear un ecosistema. Y esa es la base en la que trabajamos con terceros, con startups y con otras compañías para crear ese ecosistema en el cual otros jugadores pueden aportarnos muchas cosas.
Muchas gracias, Ignacio. Aquí veo, y además es que no tengo palabras para darle las gracias a otros partners como Accenture, como Bankinter, como Bankia, como muchos que de verdad hemos ido andando el camino y hemos construido, y todos estos años reinventándonos, naciendo, reinventándonos, que es el este. Pero otra de las palabras que a mí siempre me ha enseñado mucho de Ignacio es: mira, María, no me vengas con cuentos y dame resultados. Es decir, yo lo que necesito es business, son resultados, porque las cosas funcionan cuando hay resultados. A ver, ¿te damos resultados? Sí. Las startups te damos resultados. Mídenoslo.
Absolutamente, todos favorables, y yo creo que en esto, lógicamente, alguna te tiene que salir rana, pero yo creo que es cuestión de apostar y de tener una metodología, ¿no? Si vas poniendo piececitas un poco al albur, pues estadísticamente te pueden salir a lo mejor 2 muy buenas y 6 malas, pero si tienes una cierta metodología de trabajo, yo creo que logras tener un porcentaje más de éxitos, ¿no? Y no cabe duda de que la diversificación, nosotros estamos muy empeñados, que lo que antes era diversificación ahora pasa a ser casi una prolongación del core business, pues, entrando con la famosa palabra que ahora está muy de moda y que va a seguir más de moda, que son los ecosistemas. Pues antes hacías una cosa, pero ahora te vas expandiendo y vas tocando temas que son de otros sectores, que tradicionalmente eran de otros sectores. Entonces ya los sectores no están verticalizados, sino que se tocan unos con otros. Y las empresas vamos a tratar de coger clientes de otras empresas que en nuestra vida se nos había ocurrido tocarles, ¿no? Y a su vez, recíprocamente, y en sentido negativo, nos van a atacar a nuestros clientes tradicionales otras empresas que antes no se les pasaba por la cabeza atacarlos. Con lo cual hay un doble juego de ataque-defensa que hay que estar muy encima para que en el largo plazo tener un ecosistema con una clientela fiel, que es lo que todas las empresas tratamos.
Muchas gracias, Ignacio. Alcalde, me gustaría que remataras tú cómo ves este mundo y dentro de lo que es una ciudad como Madrid, ¿no? Y inclusive cómo aprovechamos todas estas sinergias, todas estas conexiones entre unos y otros.
Sí. Los políticos al final manejamos muchos indicadores habitualmente a nuestra conveniencia para demostrar cómo está la ciudad y lo bien que hacemos las cosas, ¿no? Pero yo creo que hay un indicador que es objetivo de cuál es el mejor futuro que puede tener una ciudad, ¿no? Y precisamente es el indicador del emprendimiento, del dinamismo, de la capacidad de generación de nuevas opciones, de nuevos negocios, de la capacidad, por tanto, de generación de startups, de la innovación, como decía anteriormente. Y en ese sentido nosotros lo que tenemos que hacer es crear las condiciones adecuadas para que ese ecosistema se pueda producir en la ciudad de Madrid. Crearlas o mantenerlas y reforzarlas, porque creo que Madrid, desde ese punto de vista, tenemos ya ventajas competitivas muy importantes, aunque solo fuera por la situación geográfica, por ser una puerta de acceso de Iberoamérica en Europa, por tener las infraestructuras que tenemos, el nivel de servicios públicos que tenemos, las propias condiciones de calidad de vida, o también, por otra parte, tener una de las mejores escuelas de negocios, como aquí también está presente, que hay en el mundo, y tenemos la capacidad de ser sede de esas escuelas de negocios. Todo ello hace que aquí confluyan una serie de factores en los cuales nosotros, desde el Gobierno municipal, lo que tenemos es que poner en valor, que tenemos que generar sinergias con todos los sectores afectados y crear eso, porque el mejor indicador de cuál va a ser el mejor futuro de la ciudad de Madrid es que tengamos la capacidad precisamente de tener un sector dinamizador, de innovación, de emprendimiento, de conocimiento, de atrevimiento, de intentonas, porque tienen que ser intentonas.
Total.
Una vez fracasarás, la segunda fracasarás, la tercera, y ya triunfarás. Pero lo importante es seguir intentándolo. Y esa es la intención que nosotros tenemos, porque ese va a ser el mejor indicador para poder garantizar un buen futuro para esta ciudad.
Muchísimas gracias, alcalde. Muchísimas gracias, Ignacio Garralda, Ignacio Madridejos. Muchísimas gracias a los tres. Un placer hablar con vosotros, con Pepe, con Eduardo, con todos vosotros, con Miguel, que lo hemos compartido. Miguel, que representa y lleva todo el tema de transformación y lleva todo el tema de Guaira a nivel mundial, y que es bueno, es algo maravilloso que creó Telefónica, que además a Telefónica tenemos mucho que agradecerle, porque tenemos que agradecerle el que no nos haya faltado la conectividad en ningún momento de nuestro confinamiento. Y a Miguel lo hemos tenido en South Summit hablándonos de todos estos temas, igual que hemos tenido a Pepe Bogas, el consejero delegado, y a los altos directivos de las empresas, de las diferentes empresas, y no solamente nuestros global partners, sino de todos nuestros colaboradores y de las empresas que habéis estado con nosotros. Yo quisiera, si os parece bien, Ignacio y alcalde, compartir con todos vosotros unos momentos, los aprendizajes que para nosotros ha supuesto el South Summit este año. Lo primero que yo quisiera decir es satisfacción. La verdad es que yo recuerdo aquí, en el mes de junio, primero estuve con el alcalde en su despacho, contándole todo el proyecto, como dijimos en la apertura, y luego lo lanzamos aquí. ¿Te acuerdas, Nacho, que no tengo palabras para daros las gracias al Teatro Real, porque siempre nos acogéis extraordinariamente bien, y lo lanzamos, que queríamos ser omnicanal, y lanzamos que íbamos a tener nuestro networking en la Plaza de Oriente, porque teníamos que estar al lado, teníamos que estar, lógicamente, al aire libre por toda la razón de la pandemia. Y queríamos hacer una cosa omnicanal, que es nuestra apuesta. Bueno, las razones que bien conocemos de la situación que estamos viviendo, pues lógicamente no nos ha permitido el contacto físico, pero sin embargo, nuestra apuesta era total, era como hemos dicho, el hacer algo diferente, el mostrar al mundo no solamente que se pueden hacer otras cosas, que desde España, que es lo más importante, podemos hacer algo absolutamente rompedor, algo que no se había hecho nunca, y que pudiéramos crear esta plataforma de una manera atractiva, que nos conectara y demás. Una plataforma que, como hemos dicho, se ha hecho en formato digital, con lo cual, desde ese punto de vista, para nosotros es una gran satisfacción. Pero, a su vez, hemos aprendido, como decíamos en la otra parte, que el contacto físico no tiene precio. Es decir, si nosotros tenemos que hacer negocios, si nosotros queremos conectarnos por las razones que sean, es importantísimo que estemos todos juntos. Es importantísimo que se sigan celebrando los encuentros, que siga viniendo gente de todo el mundo, porque al final esto es riqueza para el país y además es riqueza de poder tener ese contacto con las personas con las que tenemos que entendernos. Pero a su vez también nos abre la oportunidad el tener una plataforma digital, que puede ser digital, virtual o como nosotros denominamos lo que hemos hecho, que es una plataforma que tiene claramente formato televisivo, como habéis podido ver, y que tiene por dentro una plataforma de conexión muy importante entre todos. Esto nos trae muchas enseñanzas. Enseñanzas en la parte positiva de que realmente el alcance a lo que tú llegas es claramente mayor. En este año, como decía el alcalde, hemos tenido unos 30.000 asistentes. Curiosamente, asistentes procedentes de muchos países, de más de 120 países, pero curiosamente los países de mayor asistencia han sido países latinoamericanos. México, Perú, el segundo país latinoamericano, Colombia, Argentina, pero luego inmediatamente viene Reino Unido, viene Alemania, viene Francia, viene Brasil, viene India y así hasta los 122 países. Me ha interesado mucho cuando hablamos de ciudades, porque Madrid y Barcelona son las dos ciudades más conectadas, que mayor participación han tenido. Pero es que inmediatamente te viene México, inmediatamente viene Londres, viene París y vienen una serie de ciudades internacionales. Con lo cual, al final, dices, realmente la complementariedad entre las diferentes plataformas es claramente la clave para llevar bueno, voy a repetir la palabra plataforma porque es lo que realmente nos interesa. Si las organizaciones, si todos necesitamos conectarnos unos con otros, lo que necesitamos es la complementariedad de todas estas plataformas. Necesitamos ver cuál es la parte buena y cuál es la parte que es buenísima, pero que tenemos que saber que se hace de otra manera. Por ejemplo, hemos hablado de que han asistido, de que nosotros hemos tenido una audiencia de aproximadamente unos 30.000, aproximadamente entre 9 y 11.000 cada día de audiencia para South Summit. Es extraordinario, pero es que estamos seguros que esto es una proporción muy pequeñita de lo que vamos a tener, porque lo que hemos visto claramente es que la gente se conecta para temas puntuales que en ese momento tiene urgencia de ver, pero no para todo, porque no tiene tiempo, porque cuando tú estás en un encuentro de negocio, que es lo que realmente estamos viendo de cómo podemos multiplicar nuestras oportunidades de negocio entre todos, y tú te encierras en un IFEMA, como hemos sacado, o en cualquier espacio, en South Summit, en nuestra maravillosa nave, estás 3 días a piñón. Estás 3 días porque sabes que un porcentaje interesante de personas te vienen de cualquier parte del mundo y no quieres perder esa oportunidad de encontrártelo. En una plataforma tecnológica, en una plataforma digital, te lo tomas con más calma. Primero, lo que para nosotros ha sido clave, que es tener unos contenidos que nos aporten valor y de altísimo valor, lo hemos podido tener, como bien sabéis, y no os voy a demostrar, perdón, no os voy a volver a contar la cantidad de gente. Es más, a los que no los hayáis visto, os animo a verlas, porque hay conversaciones espectaculares, conversaciones que se han producido entre Los Ángeles y Madrid o Barcelona, con Singapur o con cualquiera de las ciudades del mundo. Eso no lo hubiésemos podido hacer nunca. Hubiésemos tenido la suerte de traer algunos, pero no hubiésemos podido tener esa aportación de valor. Pero la plataforma lo que nos permite es que nosotros nos tomemos nuestro tiempo en cada momento para poder hacerlo. Y nos permite también que las conexiones que podamos hacer con las personas que nos interesan, también busquemos ese momento y a lo mejor no vayamos a tantos eventos dentro de los encuentros físicos, sino que vayamos directamente dirigidos o directamente enfocados a las personas que queremos. Tenemos mucho que aprender. Este no es más que el inicio de esta transformación que desde South Summit hemos vivido durante estos 3 días, durante todo el proceso que han sido desde que muy rápidamente al final de la pandemia y después de la experiencia del Virtual South Summit tuvimos y dijimos que había que reinventarse y que además, insisto, ya otra vez se ponía España en un lugar de otra vez España y Madrid y dijimos, que por eso me veis siempre vestida así, tenemos que demostrar lo bien que se hacen las cosas aquí, el talento, la creatividad, que tenemos las oportunidades que realmente hay. Y además de eso, a través de esta plataforma de contenidos, poder ir introduciendo lo maravilloso que es nuestro Madrid y otras ciudades de España con las cuales hemos conectado. Otro dato muy interesante, que para mí en la comparación me es alucinante. Y eso que esto no es más que el principio. Esto en muy poquitos meses, y siendo nosotros una startup como somos, este año con un gran apoyo por parte del Ayuntamiento y desde luego por todas las corporaciones que desde el principio y que luego se han ido sumando y que os las pasaré todas porque no tengo palabras para agradecer cómo hemos ido construyendo todo esto juntos, pero somos una startup. Con nuestros medios hemos llegado a todo lo que hemos podido, pero con nuestros medios, que no son muchos, el 40%, perdón, el 40 y bastante, casi el 50%, el 40 y tantos por ciento de estos asistentes a South Summit TV han sido internacionales. ¿Cómo estamos extendiendo, primero, nuestras oportunidades? Y segundo, ¿cómo estamos extendiendo esta forma, este Madrid y esta España dinámica, ágil, rápida, innovadora? Y a su vez, esta maravillosa España, que lo que queremos es que nos vuelvan otra vez a Madrid y nos vuelvan a distintos sitios de España, nos tomemos nuestros vinitos con nuestras tapas y además pues potenciemos, como hemos hecho a través de nuestro track de turismo. Como os dais cuenta, empezamos con el más delicado de todos, porque hay muchas personas que, como es normal, han sufrido y siguen sufriendo por toda la crisis sanitaria. Pero hemos terminado con el que más lo está sufriendo desde el punto de vista de negocio, como es travel y como es turismo. Por eso les hemos querido dar visibilidad y hemos querido dar visibilidad a los hoteles y hemos querido dar visibilidad también a las tiendas y a los bares y a todo lo que supone toda esa maravilla de España que tenemos, pero que hay una España que también es una España de viaje por negocio y de calidad, que es lo que también estamos potenciando. Con lo cual, este altavoz de espacio televisivo, este altavoz virtual que, como digo, solamente ha hecho empezar. Y el South Summit se concentra en 3 días. Y son 3 días en donde la adrenalina te sube por todas partes. Que a mí me dicen, a ver cómo la empiezas a bajar, porque es que es explosivo la cantidad de cosas que hacemos. Pero termina y entonces se nos queda la cosa, ¿y ahora qué? Pues ahora tenemos la respuesta. Ahora sabemos que este nuevo South Summit con sus diferentes canales, porque los vamos a utilizar todos para realmente poder multiplicar esas oportunidades y poder seguir canalizando el país tan extraordinario que tenemos. Con lo cual, no me quiero despedir. Me despido, pero por un ratito, porque enseguida estamos de vuelta. Enseguida estamos de vuelta y estamos de vuelta con toda la ilusión, con todas las ganas y trabajando como siempre, como lo hemos hecho desde el principio. Y gracias a todos y a cada uno de vosotros, personas, organizaciones, startups, inversores, instituciones, yo me siento súper orgullosa de formar parte de este proyecto, de hacerlo con vosotros y me siento orgulloso de este maravilloso país que tenemos, que es España. Muchas gracias.
The devil in a disguise, so why don't you stand up, baby?